Anyway, welcome guys to the first Dragon's Den podcast. I'm Bees1989. So yeah, this is the first one. I've been planning this for a long time, and it's way overdue. So I thought I'd sneak one in before Christmas. So let's go. Let's play our little intro, and let's introduce the guests after that. There we go. All right, there are going to be little bugs because, you know.
This is going super well, Tyson.
Professional intro. All right, yeah. So hey, look,
like graphic designer. I want to hire them.
A shiny Mimikyu from the Aura Guardians. He's amazing.
I want to talk to him about.
He's really good. I love my overlay for my podcast. It's so pretty. So I've got a couple of people I use.
It's so cute. The overlay's so cute. I love it.
So yeah. So all right, let me just quickly go through the intros. These guys don't really need one for my channel because these guys are amazing. So first, of course, we have SheNoob Beck, who is an amazing Australian streamer, very talented.
Oh.
Treats me like gold. Treats me like gold, of course.
Treat you like a what?
Treats me like gold.
Oh yes, I treat everyone like gold, Tyson. Don't repeat that.
I got gold playing for my.
Oh god! And of course, I was gonna say, and of course the queen noob, of course, you know, bow down and all that garbage. And then of course we have. Excuse me. Rude. Yeah, we talking about the same SheNoob? Unfortunately, yes. And then, of course, we have...
Fuck you, Morgana!
And then we have, of course, the ever cute, the ever amazing, the sweetie, the nicest person I've ever met, Larissa, Nerds of Oz. We'll point. Who also is an Australian streamer, an amazing streamer. And so these guys, when I was planning to do this podcast, these two were the first two people I wanted on, for various different reasons. And so it's awesome that you guys were both able to be on here. So, yeah. I'll just pop the links up in the chat too. So if you want to check out
Morgana, you got cute blocked.
We're trying to post the cute.
Oh, yes. For those who are usually in my channel, none of my SFX are on.
Yay!
My host alert isn't on because these guys will just try to kill me in the stream. So, but yeah. So yeah, Beck, stop trying.
Listen, I can hear it in my head.
So, hey, so thank you for. Oh, what? Oh, that's on.
Restart! Is this someone?
Oh, yeah, that's on. So follow and sub alerts are on. I thought they're not so overwhelming. 5 months. Oh my god, that's crazy.
How has it been 5 months?
I don't know. It's yeah. It seems.
I feel like I must be like right behind you.
You guys would be very close.
Yeah, I think my like. I think it's the 31st for me that I have to resell.
It's on very soft Noob Pro Beast. Like, it's not on as loud as it normally would be. But yeah.
Hey, Wolfie!
Oh yeah, Wolfie's here too. I was going to say hello to everyone who's here. So, so the podcast is going to be a bit free-form. I will be testing this over the period of a few podcasts. But this one, we're all Aussie streamers. And we thought that we'd sort of just have a general chat about anything and everything to do with that, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, and just to give our perspectives. We're all very different streamers, but we're also very similar in a lot of ways. So yeah, I know Beck has got a lot she wants to say. She said to me,
haven't I always?
So
haven't I always?
Always. So I guess like, there's some really obvious stuff we can cover, you know, like internet is dodgy and, you know, time zones a thing, you know, and there's lots of that kind of stuff. But I guess
now we're just on the internet.
I was going to say, that's if it doesn't crash. Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Oh, that would be the irony in that would be amazing. So yeah, I guess I'm going to throw the floor open to you, Beck, because I know like what. Don't look so terrified. Also, if you
I wasn't expecting this.
also if you have any questions throughout, just chuck them in the chat. I apologize if I miss them, but we will try and catch them up throughout the stream. But yeah, you what? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Well, all right. Well, let's
Carry on.
before we go into that. All right. In case there are new people in here, Beck, introduce yourself as like what is your main things you stream? We all know that.
Well,
what got you into streaming?
I'm SheNoob. Well, at the moment, my stream schedule's a little all over the place because I've just moved, so my setup has had to move and my PlayStation's not connected to the internet. But at the moment, I'm streaming Detroit Become Human and Spyro and Stardew Valley on Mondays, which I stream with this cutie down here. And yeah, whatever I want really at the moment because I don't have a proper schedule because everything's fucked. So,
right.
But ordinarily I would stream Shadow of the Tomb Raider and The Last of Us and Final Fantasy and stuff like that. So yeah.
And how long have you been streaming?
And editing streams. Thank you, Noob Bro.
Oh, I love watching the editing streams. They're great.
And graphic design.
Yeah.
I do a lot of shit these days.
So what got
you? Variety streamers.
Exactly. No, you're right. So what got you into Twitch streaming?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question.
What did you want me to?
I didn't start streaming, like properly streaming on Twitch until about March of last year. But I did Twitch streams before that, just like community streams with people from my YouTube. So like I did community Jackbox streams. That was how I started. I did a couple with Jenna, I think was a couple of the first streams I ever did. And then I got divorced. Well, separated. I got separated. And then after that, I started properly Twitch streaming because it was sort of like... I don't know that I would call it a coping mechanism, but maybe something of a coping mechanism that turned into something a lot more, and it's amazing. I wouldn't live without it now. So, but I love Twitch streaming. I've been streaming consistently since October of last year. So about a year that I've been actually streaming and affiliated with Twitch. So yeah, I try to stream 6 nights a week. I try to keep that schedule regular. I do 12-hour streams every 100 followers, which has been biting me in the ass.
Stop being popular.
Holy crap, have I done a lot of 12-hour streams. It's been insane. It's been crazy, especially in the last few months. It's just been a wild ride, and I love the Noob Army and I wouldn't live without them.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm a member of the Noob Army. That's how I kind of got into, well, part of the reason why I got into
You're
Twitch.
a captain of the Noob Army.
I am.
You have high rank, good sir.
I am.
The rest is an admiral, but you're a captain.
You know, I can accept that. And yes, of course, Larissa, Nerds of Oz, same for you, I guess. What got you into streaming? You know, how long you been streaming? What do you stream?
Well, yeah, well, I guess introduce myself, but most of you already know. I'm one half of the Nerds of Oz. Larissa, I'll have been Chris, who most playing No Man's Sky at the moment with his friends. And yeah, we do some streams together. Mainly how we got started into Twitch was because on YouTube, my YouTube followers, they wanted me to do some gaming with Chris. So we started off doing some Resident Evil and a couple streams together, and they said we should do them on Twitch. So that's sort of how that came about. So we started just doing the on-off stream on Twitch, did a little bit of Overwatch together, and then it was sort of February last year when I actually started streaming more regularly. I started with Ori and the Blind Forest. I was doing that twice a week, and then I added in some more games, and it sort of developed from there. So now I became an affiliate in October last year, and I'm now doing about 5-6 streams a week, different variety of games. Kingdom Hearts mainly at the moment. I've also done a bit of Spyro, a bit of Pokemon, a bit of Stardew. We've done some Fallout. We've done a lot of different things and creative streams. My Ruby podcast as well, same as Beck does. And yeah, a variety of different things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it.
I was going to say, you didn't even mention Bootcast.
I do a Bootcast every Saturday with Corey, my best friend, and special guests from the Ruby Reactor community. Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Australian Central Daylight Time. Shameless plug.
I do mine a couple hours after at the same day.
Shameless
Yeah,
plug.
we literally like stream one after the other. So I was gonna say that like everything Larissa does, I've just like copied her. To be fair, the Noob Army, the Bootcast has been going since Volume 4, and I think you and Dawn started last year, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But you like started streaming in February last year. I started streaming in March, and then like you got affiliate a month before I got affiliate.
Yes.
It's weird.
Yes. It was funny. We sort of.
It's like saw you streaming because we knew each other through our YouTube channels, and we'd met in real life before we started streaming. And you started streaming, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Maybe I should give this a try. And so it's just gone from there.
See, I can relate to that. That's kind of how I got into that, was meeting you guys February. Oh my God. Every time I think of that, it's like, I feel like I've known you longer than that. Like,
yeah, it was this year.
It was this year, and it's like, okay.
Sydney was this year.
I know. I'm wearing my RTX shirt. I thought it was appropriate. What are you?
I was wearing my great one.
Mine's
and I got told
mine's
change.
not clean.
Shame. No. But
I haven't done my laundry. I haven't showered. I don't have time.
That's all right. I'm freaking out. Going, I've got like 2 or 3 days to do stuff. So yeah, no. Same for me. It was like meeting you guys and then getting into watching you guys with Twitch, and then part of the original concept behind me getting onto Twitch was to promote the then YouTube channel I was doing with a group of friends, and I didn't anticipate it sort of going the way it did, and now this is everything I do. We don't do much with the Twitch channel these days. I mean, I'm going to be doing my personal stuff and putting like the VODs for this up and some highlight reel stuff and that, which I may or may not have stolen from 2 other people's ideas. And you know,
I wonder who they could be.
Yeah, I wonder.
Shh. So the highlight reel stuff starting next year. I was going to start this year, and it's just been chaos the end of this year. So it's like, start that next year. But I did want to squeeze this in before Christmas, so yeah. So I'll be putting my YouTube stuff up once I've got all that set up, probably later today, and hopefully be up to upload that up in about 24 hours time ish. So yeah. Okay, well that's everyone, introduced in that. Like I said, most of you know these guys, and all of you would. Well, I won't say all of you.
And if you don't, you should.
Absolutely. I was gonna say you do now. And genuinely, before we get into all the, talking seriously.
He's gonna get sappy.
No.
I can tell by his tone.
Genuinely, these two are probably the biggest influences on me starting to stream. So, you guys have got them to blame for me existing.
I will take all of the credit.
All of the credit. So, yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Let's just get on to. So, we're all Australian streamers. I'm from South Australia. Beck's from South Australia. And Larissa's from Tassie. And I guess as Australian streamers, we have some pros in that, some cons in that. I guess a good starting point for me would be that I had a question raised a couple of weeks ago by a friend of mine who's involved in the stream team I'm a part of. Now, the stream team I'm part of is the Aura Guardians, and it's predominantly an American-based team. And they were trying to understand how, for someone who's not from that, because, I mean, Twitch is a very American-heavy platform.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to diversify, but it is
in the last year or so. I've certainly noticed more diversity in Twitch than before that.
And their question to me was, how did I build my channel so quickly, given that I'm an Australian streamer, I was stream at weird times for them, etc. And my first answer was, the Australian Twitch streaming community is a very tight-knit group. And we know so many people. Like my channel was built on the fact that people like yourself and people like Mrs. Lante, Midnight Victoria, Cooper, all of those people who are amazing Australian streamers, we support each other. And we don't even have to be a stream team or anything else. There's just that level of, it's hard enough as Australians to try and get out there. So I guess what impact has that had on you guys as streamers, having that network of people to be able to work with on your initial growth and your current growth. Like,
After you, Lisa.
Well, I guess you went first before, so
just push you under the bus. Go.
Well,
If I start, I won't stop.
Very true. I think it was mid last year when I heard about a little community group called the Aussie Streamer team.
Yeah.
And that's where I met. Yeah, and I think I just saw it on Twitter, I think it was. Anyway, like, I joined their Discord and I got talking. That's where I met Magic Man, Midnight Victoria, Mrs. Lante. I met them all through there.
Yeah.
And then Wame ANZ came to be, I think it was in May last year. So that's the women's ANZ.
Yeah, May this year.
This year, sorry, yeah, this year. And they and then that just being part of those two community groups, that just it impacted my channel. I got a huge amount of followers and a lot of new regulars as well. And we just created this, like you said, Tana, just this really small, close knit group of people just through those communities. And yes, so still part of those communities, and they're amazing. Yeah. Big impact.
There's, if you're a Twitch streamer, especially if you're a small Twitch streamer or a Twitch streamer that's just starting out, networking is the most important thing.
Oh, absolutely.
There is nothing more important than joining Twitch communities and making friends and making yourself known and posting when you go live and making sure you keep up with your social media, and having a Twitter is super important to being a streamer as well. If you're a streamer, you don't have Twitter, you need to get a Twitter. There's no two ways about it. But or at least Instagram. But
Twitter's taken over my life.
I can relate.
Discord is something that's more for once you've started to build your community, but it's a good place for you to interact with the community, to keep up to date with the community, to find out what your community wants, and also for your networking. So like every stream team and every like Twitch community has a Discord, and that's where you do the majority of your networking. So yeah, we met like Mrs. Lante, Midnight Victoria, Evie Blanche, New Pro Beast, Magic Man, basically every Australian streamer, Tealful, that I know and can think of, I met them through networking. And it's like, once you meet those streamers, their people start to come to your streams, and then you take your people over to their streams, and then their people bring other people, and other people bring their people, and it's like it's a domino effect.
Absolutely.
Once you start making those connections and making those friendships and reaching out to people, and sometimes it's just about having the courage to reach out to people, because it's really scary and really daunting, especially if you're joining a bigger community. Like when I joined Hell's Army, I felt really daunted because it is a massive community, it's a very exclusive kind of group. And I felt more often than not that I was just being ignored or overlooked in Hell's Army. But with Womans, because I joined right when they founded, I didn't get that. And then Aussie Streamer team was a similar deal, because that is such like a smaller sort of Twitch community, and it's very tight knit, and we look after one another. So
I guess from my perspective, like because I've been in Hell's Army pretty much from the get go. I don't even remember how I found Hell's Army, but I got onto that, and that was very early on before it just exploded into what it is. And you know, it's a credit to Hell's Gates himself, just putting an insane amount of just. I've never met someone who is just so dedicated to community and gets that
He's
community.
A monster.
Like, how does he do it? Like, I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
And like, so, you know, and that's how I met some of the streamers I know outside of like the Australian side of things. People like Foxy Songbird, for example, who's become one of my most amazing friends and is an incredible streamer. So, you know, she's awesome. Like, and so basically, I 100% agree with Beck in that, you know, networking is key. I'm part of I'm in a few different communities, but like I'm in 3 main ones. Obviously, Aura Guardians is the one that I put a lot of effort into myself. Actually, probably be 4. I'm trying not to get, you know, there's so many. I look at my Discord list, it's like, whoop,
yeah.
It's like, and trying to keep up with some of them. I'm trying to be more active, but it is hard. But I guess that's part of the process in being, you know, a streamer and networking and that. But so I'm part of Aura Guardians, and I'm on that stream team. And that, I guess, you know, being part of I wouldn't say being part of a stream team is the be all and end all, obviously, but it is an incredible sense of making it, I suppose, and getting to a point where you're recognized as being part of a formal community. And I was one of the very first people after they founded that, so I've been able to see that go from like before they even had a Discord to it growing to a community now that's huge, to being the strange Australian streamer who, everyone knows is an Aussie and streams at weird times, and they all just sort of deal with it. And like, I'll have people tuning in at 4 a.m. and 3 a.m. and it's like, what time is it there? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, why are you awake? Oh, we just enjoy what you're streaming. Like, that's dedication. Like, and I'm sure you guys have got people like that, and I know you do.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, and you just go,
definitely.
I guess there's that, I don't know if you guys have the same, feelings, in that you start questioning, am I that entertaining, enthralling, whatever you want to call it, that you'll get up at some silly time of the night and watch what we're doing?
All the time.
So
Yes.
All the time. Every time, like, because for me, because I did YouTube for so long before I did Twitch, like, I've been on YouTube for like almost 8 years, and like, I've had this kind of very, very, very American-based Ruby following on YouTube for so long. When I went over to Twitch, that sort of shifted from an American follower base to an Australian follower base because of the times I stream.
Yeah.
But it's been easier now to bring in more of like an international audience, because when I'm out here, I can stream a little later. So I do stream later now, and I've noticed a shift in the region of people that are coming into my streams. But it's like when somebody jumps on and they're like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning for me, but I'd rather watch your stream than sleep. I'm like, why? Why? Like, I try extra hard to make it make them know that I appreciate them doing that, and like try extra hard to make it entertaining, and I just try to be myself, because that's kind of always worked for me on YouTube, just being myself. And I don't mind saying that I am entertaining or I am a funny person, because it's I used to have a big problem with like calling myself like being like, I'm so funny, oh my god, everyone loves watching. But now I'm like, I'm less weird about it. I'm like, well, if I wasn't entertaining, I wasn't funny, people wouldn't watch. So
yeah, and I guess that's like, because I guess from my perspective, I mean, my initial stuff was like friends and people that I'd met directly and that, and then obviously people from your communities that definitely have supported me, and people like, that's how I've met people like Noob Pro Beast, Magic Man, Cooper. I met Cooper by playing Dead by Daylight randomly. Also got the best SFX ever out of that one stream.
You met Cooper playing Dead by Daylight?
Yes. That was
funny.
That stream where we got the Cooper laugh was the first time I'd ever heard Cooper.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
So that was my introduction to Cooper. No, we'd never met.
That's so weird.
So that stream, yeah, that's how I was introduced to Cooper.
Intelligence, this is me. Hi. Yeah, but I didn't know you didn't know Cooper before that, because I met Cooper Pooper through AST, I think it was.
Okay.
Aussie
Yeah,
Streamer.
same time I met Mrs. Lante and Midnight Victoria, because those ladies are all like their own group of what do I want to call them? I don't want to call them a clique. They're not a clique, but like the Grumpy Gamer and Mrs. Lante, Midnight Victoria and Cooper Pooper, they're all like in this. They had a well-established rapport when I joined AST. So when I met one of them, it snowballed. I met them all. So yeah.
So yeah, no. So that was my introduction to that. But then obviously, like, I started watching, and someone who I looked at as a bit of inspiration as I was growing as a streamer was Cody, who's the leader of the Aura Guardian stream team. And so, I got to meet people like F Dark Angel and Umbreon HD and, of course, Danny. So, it's... I promise... Of course. He's not watching at the moment. He's in Manchester. So... Rude. Yeah. It was good.
Rude.
So, and then from that, it was like, all right. So I started watching Cody, and then he was going to develop the stream team, and then getting into the stream team. Being on the stream team is where I started getting a very American audience from. And, so I got people who from that community. But then there's this weird blur where a lot of those people are now starting to cross over into your streams. And so it's really odd seeing like Danny and Emma and like all these people. I mean, Emma's Australian, but like, and for a while there was like, wow, it's so weird that our communities have almost like, they're separate, but they've meshed in one way as well.
Yeah,
and that,
definitely.
And that's that key to networking, is the fact that we're not looking at each other as competition at all. We look at each other and go, I want to help Beck, or I want to help Larissa, or, and it's I remember mid-stream going, Beck's nearly at 500 followers. Go and follow her. Like, she's online. Go on, And it's like...
You do that with me, too.
I was going to say, and it's like... And people going, oh, cool, we can do that. We'll be back. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Go do it. I'm telling you.
I will frequently be like doing a stream where I'm like pushing to the next 100 followers because it's like so close, and I'll just see these people come into my chat and be like, "Hi, follow," and I'm like, "What is he doing over there?"
and it's like at the end of the day, it's like I look at it this way. If we can help each other out, that's the key to this. I mean, I still can't get past the fact that at the start of September, I hadn't joined the stream team at that point. September was the biggest month for my channel growth by far. I had nearly 300 followers in 1 month. And it's like, and it,
that was insane.
My brain was like dead by the end of September, but I started that month with just over 100 followers. And it was that moment of like, it just exploded. And it was because I had spent a lot of time networking. And, and that's the hard work. And it was a lot of hard work. And I'd be up at I was up at stupid times watching people's streams at, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. because I just was awake, and being in Discord and getting to know people and that was so very important. So, I'm not saying that everyone will have that level of success, or if you want to call it that, in that short a time. But it does show that if you put in the effort. And the one thing that I really agree with Beck is be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just be yourself. I look at myself and go, I don't understand how I'm entertaining. But I'm known for my streams being broken, and I'm known for the fact that things don't work properly, and I'm known for the fact that I get very embarrassed or confused and laugh at practically anything that happens.
And I'm known for the fact that I'm generally just a terrible streamer.
You're like, I'm pretty like and my chat is hostile in the nicest way.
Accurate.
Like it's hostility, but it's met with, we do like you, but
it's tough love.
It is. So that's that level of, and interacting with your chat and all those things. People sort of bang on about it and go, yep, you need to do this. It is genuinely, those things are important. I don't care who's in the chat, as long as I acknowledge every single person who's been in the chat. Like, half the time, I stuff my games up because I'm spending more time making sure that I'm engaging with my audience.
Same.
All the time. All the time. But it's important. It's important to do that. It's important to be engaged with your audience and to connect with people. And especially when new people come in, it's important to engage with them and make them feel welcome. And it's important to develop a community that, like, makes everybody feel welcome. And like from the get-go, I knew that I wanted to create a community that was inclusive and that anybody could come into and feel like they didn't have to be afraid to be themselves, no matter what they are, no matter who they are. Like it's a place where we have zero tolerance for intolerance. Is how I always describe the Noob Army. And it's like, every time a new person comes in, I always make sure I acknowledge them in the chat and say, hi, how are you? Just saying hello to people can, like, if I watch some streamers and I'm like, they don't interact with their chat at all. Like, and like, I've had a couple people come into my Discord and come into my streams who are streamers and who are very small streamers trying to get started on Twitch and like, say to me, oh, I've joined all these communities and like I've got an overlay set up, I have alerts, I have all of this done, but I'm not going anywhere with my Twitch, I don't know what's going wrong. I go to those people's Twitches and I watch their streams and I immediately see what they're doing wrong. And it's usually you're not interacting with chat. You're not speaking like there's an audience. And like people who don't get a lot of viewers, or people who consistently only have 1 or 2 viewers or even no viewers, get used to not talking because there's never people in the chat. But it's like you've got to speak like the chat has 100 people in it always.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you have to just have to do it. It's something you have to train yourself to do, and you have to get used to doing. And it was easier for me and Larissa, I think, because we did YouTube before we did
That's
Twitch.
what I was just going to say. We're so used to, even with our reactions that we do, that just, you don't have anyone watching you, but you know you're going to be uploading this video for people to watch. So you sort of got the habit of talking like you are talking to people. So when I started doing my stream, hello, Corey.
I was literally about to acknowledge Corey, then I'm like, hang on, I wait until Larissa's.
Yeah, so you just got, like, when I started streaming, when I was doing Ori the Blind Forest, I had like no one watching, but I just...
Oh yeah, it's only 7.
Yeah.
Never mind. Carry on, Corey.
I'll allow it, you can stay.
So yeah, you just got in the habit of talking like you had people watching, and so it was easier for us, definitely, from doing YouTube.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel like it was definitely easier for us than it is for other people. Like, to just start off Twitch streaming with having no experience with, like, gaming commentary. I hate calling it that, but that's what it is, essentially. But it's, like, for hours at a time. But I did gaming videos on YouTube for a long time before I started Twitch. So right when I started, I sort of already had that ingrained in me to, like, when I'm playing a video game, talk constantly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a lot of the reason that I did become good at streaming as quickly as I did. Like, I feel like for a lot of people, it's hard. It's very hard for people to get used to. But I feel like myself and you, Larissa, were already used to it when we started.
Yeah,
so,
I guess I had that sort of that. I mean, my YouTube never really took off as such. But wait, holy hell!
You just did that sneakily.
I know, I was talking the whole time I was doing that too. Multitasking for the win.
Thanks, Beck. Thanks, Beck.
There's one thing you get to, like, you pick up also while streaming is the multitasking.
I'm talking. I'm a woman, Corey. You don't have to multitask. I'm literally like side-eyeing over here, and I'm just like talk.
And see, I'm immediately broken. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh shit.
Corey, you do a podcast with me every week. You should know this by now.
But I do want to say, like, and Beck can contest this, I talk out loud at everything I'm doing. Even just around the house, at work. I'm always constantly saying things out loud. I get that from my mum. My mum's shocking. She'll be watching TV and she'll be constantly commenting the whole thing, whatever she's watching.
Oh, really?
YouTube did it to me. YouTube did it to me. Because once I started doing YouTube, I found that I would talk to myself all the time. And I know what you're saying about you, like, talking out loud, because I know from spending time with you in real life that you do it constantly. And it's like, you're like, for example, we'll, like, get in the car ready to go somewhere, and you'll, like, open the door and sit in the car, and you'll be, like, just a running commentary of every thought that's going through your brain.
Oh my
God. And
God.
it's the funniest thing ever, and you're like, did I bring my keys? Yeah, my keys are in my back pocket. Did I leave the door open? Okay, no. And I'm just sitting there like...
See,
I do the same thing.
I've always sort of done that, and I have to say I agree with you. Even though our YouTube channel didn't take off, doing Let's Play style like videos and that, you kind of force yourself to talk. So yeah, I guess that was why I found it a lot easier. I was also very, very lucky, and someone who I've always, given a lot of credit and a lot of thanks to, as much as she gives me every bit of shit every time she's in the chat, is Emma. Emma was there very early on, and there would be streams where I would literally just be talking to Emma. But it helped because it was like, it's that one person who's keeping the conversation happening, even if it is only one person. So I was very lucky from that perspective. But I've also just noticed that Larissa's overlay thing is just the tiniest bit hanging out the bottom.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
see
yeah,
that.
that too. I didn't even notice that.
It's killing me. I'll fix
To
that
be
while I'm
fair,
talking.
Tyson, to you, I feel like you're doing very well at being organized with this. This is your first ever podcast. I remember what the first Bootcast was like, and you're doing a lot better than we were. So
I guess I've got to fix that. That's going to annoy me. My OCD's kicking.
Just drop it.
Yeah, that's what I got to just find. I got to find your
it's gonna
feed.
drive you insane if you don't.
I didn't even notice.
But you saying about how sometimes like Emma was the only person keeping the conversation going in chat. For me, that was Larissa when I started streaming. Yeah, I like when I look back at like my old clips because I'm going through them to upload them to my new YouTube. You're just in the chat and like I can hear myself talking to you constantly. You're the only one I'm like talking to while I'm streaming because a lot of the time you were the only one that was there or at least the only one that was talking. But I feel like when I got started on Twitch, I had a leg up from YouTube already because once I like got into streaming properly and I actually announced on my YouTube that I had a Twitch and I was streaming, a lot of people came over from my YouTube and then ever since then I've had a consistent viewing. There's never really been a stream where no one's watched.
No.
And let me just say, I'm incredibly lucky that has been my experience. That does not happen for everyone. I know people that put in the same amount of effort that we all do to their streaming or more and get nowhere and have no viewers. And it just doesn't happen for them. And it's not necessarily anything they're doing wrong.
No.
It's just that it's just not happening for them, and it doesn't happen for everyone. We're all extremely lucky to be where we are, even though we're all still small streamers in the grand scheme of things. We're so lucky because for every one of us, there are 1,000 people who didn't get anywhere near us.
Well, a really good example, and Noob Pro Beast has just brought it up, is that Emma has now started streaming, and which just blew my mind. One day she just went live. I'm like, whoa, wait, hey, what's going on?
Emma's
I know.
Yes.
Emma's someone who has been in so many chats, and has spent her time. And it wasn't obviously intentionally to stream. She's just fallen in love with streaming, watching people like not me because she hates me, but other people.
No, doesn't hate you.
I'm surprised she's not here sassing me, but that's all right. She's probably still asleep. So she literally started streaming, and then I caught on to it, and a few others have caught on to it, and even the Aura Guardian side of things, I had a stream where she was moderating for me. She was about 8 followers away, because she had so many friends and people she'd already met, like Magic Man, for example, and Noob Pro Beast were going to her stream and watching for a bit, knowing that, how much that helps. And so she instantly hit the average thing and the number of hours and everything else. It was literally the followers. For me, it was the other way around. I had the average problem. I had to try and get that over, and it was because my initial streams were so low that by the time I actually started making some momentum, I had to kind of like erase them from the 30 days, if that makes sense. So she immediately, like, after that stream, one of the stream team members from Aura Guardians was like, you know what, because you're such a supporter of bees, I'm going to bring some of my community in. He went to his Discord and went, go and support this person. This person has supported one of my teammates. I want you to help her out because she's amazing. And immediately she went over 50 and she was affiliated. And it's like a week. Like a week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's
insane. I mean, like, it took me almost a year to
Like-
get
It took us
affiliate.
quite a few months.
It took you got affiliate a month before I did. So I think you started in February, got affiliate October. I started in March, got affiliate November. So
that shouldn't be on.
That's what networking is, though. That's what networking is all about. Is about making those connections with people, so that when you need the support, they are there to support you. And like, there's people. Yeah, I was gonna say your scary stream timer is on, and I also
We're
just
terrified.
noticed my Christmas tree isn't on, so I'm gonna fix that really quick.
Yeah, I know, so when you're looking, you're like, what are you doing? Oh.
My tree's not on. But yeah,
I see the gentle twinkle there now.
There we go.
Yeah, but that's what networking is all about, and it's like, even like some people, I think, have this mentality that they're like, oh, if I can't stay in a stream for the whole stream, then I won't bother. But it's like, no, that's not how Twitch works. It's not a YouTube video. Like,
No.
you don't have to
stay for the whole
watch
thing.
the whole video when you have time. But Twitch is more like, even if you pop in for just a second, if you do that a lot, the streamer will notice and they'll recognize you when you come in. And it's like, the people that come into my streams and drop a lurk and leave it for the entire stream, I'm like, I appreciate the fuck out of you. Like, as much as I appreciate everybody who talks in the chat during the stream, or if they're there for a certain amount of time, I appreciate them as much as I appreciate the people who lurk for the whole stream. Like Bees Weasel.
I was about to say,
always
if you don't
Even
mention
when
Bees Weasel,
streaming. Even when he's streaming, he's lurking in my Twitch, in Tyson's Twitch, in Larissa's Twitch, in like 6 other Twitches all at once while
I don't know how he does it.
And I don't know how he does it.
For the
Hey,
magic.
Hey! And then there's people that that have been in my Twitch streams from the beginning who are now like my moderators and stuff like that have just been constant wonderful support for me. Wade is the first person who comes to mind, because I think Wade was one of my first like Twitch viewers, because he came over from my YouTube, I believe. And Wade and Larissa were the 2 people who were consistently there right from the beginning. And Wade basically manages my Discord now, so like he's amazing. I love Wade to pieces, even though he's can't come into my streams that often. He's always managing my Discord, and when he does come by, he drops me donos or he drops me support of some description. He tries to lurk whenever he can, even when he's working, and like, because he works at weird times. But let's max in or out. Check that off.
He didn't go out. He was sitting at the door, wanting to go out. So I opened the door, and he just sat there and looked at me like, I don't want to go out.
Oh. But see, for me, there's been a couple of people like that, and I guess talking about moments. I mean, I don't, and you guys would be the same. I don't do this for the financial reward, or anything like that. I do it because I enjoy it. And I as I've discussed previously, and I'd love to do a podcast up the track about mental health and that. But it's something that I've used as a bit of a tool to deal with that as well. There have been moments that, and I'm sure you guys have had standout moments, where something has happened so just like, what the fuck, that you break. And one of them was the night, during my 12-hour stream for 100 followers. My first 12-hour stream ever. And it was the most disjointed, confused. Larissa was there for quite a bit of it. She watched us cook. Yeah. Which was the weirdest thing ever. And people just sitting there.
I don't think I saw that one.
No, you didn't.
I remember that one. I do. Yeah.
Remember because I called it cooking shrimp on the teppanyaki because we got. I tried to do too much in one stream.
It was great.
It was so much fun, but I don't think I'd ever be able to.
Literally cooking, yeah.
Like we were literally.
I'm kind of sad that I missed it.
We were just kind of having like a barbecue. A friend of mine, Curtis, had bought like a teppanyaki grill, and we're like, you know what? Let's use it on the stream. So we're just sitting there cooking dinner because it was like my stream went from like 12 till 12, and so it's like about 6 o'clock we'll do some cooking and that, and there was like 15.
Aww.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was at 101. It was bothering me. Okay.
Oh, OCD. So it's like, yeah. So and the people were watching that. It was the first time I sort of was like, why? Like there was like 15 to 20 people watching that stream. The other standout moment, like, and I'll go to you guys. There's just a couple of real big ones that have had such an impact on me that they're just permanently. I was due to move house to the house I'm in currently, and I had worked on everything for affiliate except the average. The second to last night was like, okay, I'm close. It was at like 2.99 or something like that. I'm like, and I kept streaming, and people were monitoring it and that. My friends and my long-term, or at that point long-term followers, were recruiting people to come in because they knew that I was going to be, with it, knowing what Australian internet's like and getting connected and everything else, I'd be down and have to start from scratch. The last stream I did, I got affiliated and the internet went down for 6 weeks. I had no internet for 6 weeks, so I would have lost all that progress. And it was that moment of, oh my God, these people are actually fighting for me to get my affiliate so that I've got it when I get back. And then that was the weird thing. And then the fear of coming back was like, all right, 6 weeks later, nobody's going to be there. And it was one of the most amazing streams. I was organized in that I had my emotes and my sub things and everything else. My first stream, I ended up with
you
4
had that
subs.
6 weeks to get organised.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like
Yeah.
I got nothing better to do with my life. I'm just gonna do this now, you know.
It took me a good 6 months to get organised. I'm not even gonna lie.
I was lucky. I was lucky in the fact that one of my friends is a graphic designer. So like the little Dragonite emote and my initial logo stuff, and you know, and at that stage I was like not sure how I was gonna theme my like. At that point, the Dragon's Den concept didn't exist. You know, I think I had a link emote and an emote of me going like, because apparently I do that a lot, and it's like, okay, so that's an emote. So there was that, and then that 12-hour stream was insane. The other one was the day that they added me to the Aura Guardian stream team. I didn't know that I had been like added. The whole team came into my chat during a stream and dropped that on me, and it was like,
I remember that.
I was just like, and I didn't realize I had people walking behind me, and like I had no idea. I just went blocked out to the point that then they were sending me like logos and that. I'm like, guys, as much as I'm just gonna stop the stream because my brain is gonna explode, and I literally stopped. I couldn't do it. Like my brain just froze, and it was like, so there was that. The first time someone dropped a 10,000 bit drop, his name's Hayo, was like insane. But instead of doing it as one, he just kept dropping bits. So we were trying to add it up as we were going along, because I didn't have the extension at that point. And it's like, by the time we added, I'm like, what is, you know, Bees Weasel joined my stream for the 12-hour stream, the first one, and he found me through Hell's Army, and it was only because my name is Bees that he followed. And then he gifted.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And he gifted like, and I wasn't even on screen at that stage because I was having a half an hour break, and my friends Sean and Kayla were playing Jurassic Park, I think. So they were talking, and he goes, "Which one's Bees?" And he's not even on camera at the moment. Like, so you know, and Bees dropped
He's gone for a piss.
so Bees dropped like 10 subs that night. Like, and it's like, what is going on? You know, and Bees has dropped so many subs to my channel, and it's like, that is madness, you know. And probably the most recent one, which has had a really personal, I'm getting teary already, is that my goal leading up to the trip was to raise some money towards my travel expenses to go see Danny. Something that I've always said all my money would go back into Twitch and and my community was like, you know what? Why don't you put a personal goal up? The first night I streamed, which wasn't even a stream, it was a test stream, because I was having PC problems at that stage. And Foxy Songbird.
I jumped into that.
I was going to say,
I think I rated you, didn't I?
No. That was the second stream. The first stream was I was streaming at 2 a.m. I was wearing a singlet. My bed wasn't made, and I was like, I put up test stream. Nobody should have been there, and it just kept piling in, and it was like, and then so we put some music on while I was fixing, and then like Foxy came in. She's like, keep streaming. By the end of that, she dropped $350 in one stream.
Ah, that's amazing.
And I just practically burst into tears.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's been, and it's not about that for me, but it's those moments of like, you believe in me that much as a streamer or as an entertainer, whatever you want to call it, that you're willing to, and, you know, I guess you guys have had moments like that, you know, like, so yeah, like what would be a couple of standout moments in which it's that, not that level of acceptance, but it's like, holy hell, like why? Like,
I think one just recently was when we were doing Stardew together, and I had the leader of Keyblade Army drop 130 raid on me, and then her fiance joined as well with a 30-person raid, and they were just amazing. They just stayed in the stream, and yeah, it was great. That I didn't know what to do. I was like in Stardew mode. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm distracted because my chat was going absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's hard when you're doing a multi-stream and something like that happens. So the three of us were like, we're just gonna let it go and deal with that because we know it's a lot. Like it's a lot to process.
That's hard.
It was just a lot to take on.
Yeah,
but it was great though. It was amazing. Yeah.
There's a few that immediately come to mind for me. One is a very recent one. Nazy, one of the founders of the Warman's Twitch community, raided me while I was randomly replaying chapters in Detroit last week. And I was paused. I was trying to get my Santa hat on because Mrs. Lante had redeemed it. And I was like, it's not sitting on my head right. Next minute, my raid alert goes off. I'm like, oh, cool. I look over. Nazy has raided you with 149 people. And I just went, I literally, it broke me. I spent the next 20 minutes in stream just laughing and like thanking people for follows and responding to the chat. And I did the first dab I've ever done in my life.
Yes.
Thanks, Maisie.
But
But she and her community were amazing, and most of them lurked for the rest of the stream. And it's it's my most successful stream ever. I reached over 200 viewers, and I smashed the 100 viewer achievement because of that raid. And it's like just amazing. And I've had big raids before, but nothing like that. And it just blew my mind. And like I just never expected it. And it was in such a random Detroit stream, and it was out of the blue. And I was like, why are you here? It's like, this is so random.
I can think of 3 examples where I've had that. My first big, massive raid like that was General Andrews, who's an amazing Hell's Army member and a retro streamer. He dropped a host of 229 and then like raided with 132 people. And I just went, what the hell? And he's like, hi. I'm like, oh, what? And it was so early on in my streaming. I think it was before my 12-hour stream. Like, it was very early on. And then the second one that comes to mind is more recently Joker, who's on the Aura Guardians and has just recently got partnered. And he hosted with around the same, but it was like his whole community is nuts. Great community, amazing community, awesome streamer. But it was like the same thing, and I'm just looking at the chat and going, yep, I have no idea what's happening, guys, but hi. And the other one was not a big raid. It was a succession of raids. I had one stream where I had 6 raids. I had one at the start, and I can't remember who it was. I had the Starlude Valley guys all raid me. So it was Vicky, Lante.
That's crazy when you get a Starlude raid.
I was going to say,
you always know a Starlude raid is coming if it's Starlude night, because the first one that comes in is usually grumpy.
Well, so I didn't click on that, like, because I just, if for some reason to register, and like, I think I was at Magic, and then and then
I think I had one once too.
Vicky, and then I'm like,
not grumpy, sorry, noob.
And then it was noob.
It was noob, Magic, Vicky, and Mrs. Lante. It got to, I think, Magic or whoever was third. I'm like, oh, it's Starlude Valley. So then by the time Mrs. L was the last one, I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
Vicky's normally the last now because she does her stream wrap-up thing before she actually raids. But I've had a couple times where I've been raided by the Starlude crew, and it always starts with noob, and then Magic's like immediately after, and then I get Mrs. L and then Vicky. And by the time Magic comes, I'm like, uh-oh. Like, the rest of them are coming. I'm like, oh god, the Starlude crew's coming. In a good way, though. I'm like, you guys are amazing for doing that. Like, you don't have to raid me.
Thanks for the follow, Smash. Welcome to the Dragon's Den.
Like Tyson was saying earlier, when you network with people, it becomes this weird situation where, like, everybody starts off with their own community, and then when you start to network and support one another, your communities become a mesh of, like, they all overlap. So, like, when I look at my Twitch statistics with, like, where my viewers are coming from and who I have viewers in common with, the top people I have viewers in common with are you two, Mrs. Lante, Midnight Victoria, and Tealful. That's, like, the top people I have viewers in common with. And, like, all of our... And, like, I have viewers in common with Noob Pro Beast and Magic Man, like, every other streamer that I, know and that I network with. All of our communities overlap. And there's, like, a good, I want to say, 300 people that are in all of our communities. And it's, like, this massive big pool in the center of, like, a mesh of Noob Army and Koala Crew and Dragon's Den and whatever the fuck else you've got. Panther Crew or whatever. It's like, it's insane.
It's weird because like that night, like I thought, all right, I've been raided 5 times. I was getting ready to wrap up. I think I was playing Fortnite, so I was so distracted. I did absolutely nothing right. And I was playing with others, so they're like, what is going on over there? I'm like, And I was just about, we were on our last match, and then, like, come to find out, I went and watched. I love when you go, I don't know if you've ever done this, because out of sheer curiosity, I'd never had Tealful raid me. And I was like, how did that happen? So I went back and watched like the end of her video on demand. Come to find out, it was Noob Pro Beast. She was looking for somebody. What about bees? And she's like, I can't believe I'm not even following bees. I know who that is. Like, so like she raided at the end of that stream, and her raid was like 70 or 60 people or something. Like, it was a big raid. And so I played a bit longer in that, but it was like, and I just sat there going, this is like raid 6. Like, what is going on? You can deny it all you want, Noob. I had video proof.
He's guilty.
But it's
it's like,
oh, go on.
Yeah, it's like that with like big raids don't happen for no reason typically. They're never usually random, especially if it's somebody that you're in a community with that has raided you. I got a 59-person raid recently from somebody totally random, but it was because somebody from my community was in their chat and recommended me for a raid. And it's like, the fact that somebody from my community would do that and then bring all these people over is awesome. But Nazy raided me because I am in the woman's community and I am doing WWF streams this month. So she and Woman's made like a tweet about the WWF streamers that were in Woman's and saying like, go follow these people. And she was systematically raiding all of the WWF streamers in Woman's. So that's why she came to my Twitch. So, but like, it's just like, that's another thing. Getting involved in events and especially charity events is super helpful for the networking side of things as well. So it's like, yes, you're not really getting anything monetarily out of it because you're raising money for a charity, but that's still amazing at the same time.
Yeah.
You are getting a lot out of it in support and exposure, and there's always something to be gained from giving to others on Twitch.
Absolutely.
Extra Life's a big thing of that too.
Yeah.
Extra Life is amazing. We've done it 2 years in a row now. I love Extra Life so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at doing that next year. Now that I'm a little bit more seasoned, like I was like, oh god. But yeah, no, and it's the same thing. Like, I guess even if you've got the opportunity to stream with other streamers and do multi streams and that, I've found some of my best streams have been like Dead by Daylight, for example, with you guys. Like,
oh my gosh,
we've had some of the greatest streams, and the results from that stream, not even just the following side or the raids or whatever, it's the the little things like SFX that we've gained from it, or like I've had so many people message me going, when are you doing another Dead by Daylight stream with like Beck and Larissa, and it's like
soon we promise soon.
Like, and it's that level of, I guess, because we mesh so well as a group.
We do.
And adding like Corey in there, like it's just
and Chris. We always forget about Chris.
It's intentional. No,
I mean Chris is just kind of there.
Yeah, he's just part of the furniture.
Chris is great. Look, as much shit as Chris and I give each other, I do actually adore Chris. It's just that's his like brand of humor, but it's also my brand of humor. So like we mesh really well together, I think. Chris is great. Can I want to talk about Corey for a second, because is he still here? I don't know. I think he's off playing cards with his family. Good, he's not here. I can gush about him. Good.
Quick, clip it.
No.
Noob's got his finger on the button.
I've been friends with Corey for 5 years.
Yep.
Which is a long time to be friends with somebody and never have actually met them in real life. Because he lives in Arizona. I live in Australia. We live 5,000 miles away from each other. Corey was 16 when I met him. He's just turned 22. And like, from the time that I met him to now, he's a completely different person. And like, when I met him, he was so shy. And it was just like, we met because he was featuring in one of my YouTube videos for an Assassin's Creed 3 multiplayer, because he won a competition on the channel. And he was so nervous, and like he only admitted this to me very recently, that he was like so nervous that he didn't want to answer the Skype call because he thought he would just be horrible and like not funny and just mess everything up. But me and him clicked immediately, and it's always been like that ever since we met. We just meshed so well together, and you guys know from like streaming with us, we're basically the same person now. So
but
like we're so in sync. But like, he's a completely different person. I don't know how else to describe it. He's come so far, and even since we started doing the bootcast as well, he used to be so nervous and never really speak when we had guests on, and now he exudes confidence. But that's the thing, he doesn't feel confident in himself, but he exudes it, and he's just like so chill about just streaming with people he doesn't really know. And it's like, Corey's amazing. He's just amazing, and I just wanted to say that. But yeah, I think a lot of the reason we all mesh so well together when we stream, like you, Larissa and Tyson and me and Chris and Corey and whoever else we have in, is because we do all know each other in real life. Like, we talk outside of streaming and we interact outside of streaming, and we're constantly going around to each other's streams and making sure we're supporting one another. Mrs. Lante as well, Vicky, Grumpy and Cooper and all those people, and we've streamed with them all before. And it's like, we can just jump into a stream and just do it, and it's amazing and it's the best fun ever. Because we are friends in real life. And I think this, like, I think it's interesting how, like, you don't expect when you go into streaming to make real life friends, and it just happens in spite of you. And like, because even though I met these two, well, I met Tyson, I met you in real life. Larissa, I met you on the internet.
Yes.
But I've met you in real life since then many times. But it's just funny the way life is sometimes. And like, I didn't go into Twitch expecting to make lifelong friends. But it just happened, and I'm so beyond grateful.
Yeah.
It's alright, we used the wrong thing.
Tyson's trying desperately to moderate his stream right now, and it's not working.
There we go.
Pointed out to me. Oh, really awkward.
I put a slash instead of an exclamation point.
Because I've been giving him too much praise.
Oh, because you're a mod. You can see what I'm doing.
I am a mod.
Damn.
And I give you shout.
Oops.
And that's the thing, like, we all moderate each other's streams, and we're all like, whatever time we can spare to be in each other's streams, because we are all busy people. We all have our own streams to worry about. We all stream most nights a week. So whatever time we can spend on each other's streams, we make sure we try and spend as much time as we can. And it's like, even little things like when I'm streaming and Tyson jumps in my chat just to let off the Inception sound effect, and I go over there when I'm streaming just to do the noob scream. It's like little things like that, those kinds of interactions that make what all of us have together really special.
I guess that's why, like, even from an SFX standpoint, is that a good bulk of my SFX now is just like you or Larissa or Cooper, or it's like.
Well, yeah, and it's like, on my channel, I have like 2 SFX I think that are yours, Larissa, and I keep pointing up, but you're actually down on the overlay, but you're up for me. Yeah, and it's like, it's hard to put into words how incredible it is to network with these people and make lifelong friends.
Yeah.
It's just insane. And I think the reason that we do mesh so well with the other streamers that we meet, is because we all share this one massive thing in common. And it bonds us, like Twitch like bonds us together, and it's something we can all talk to each other about and all relate to. And most of the time when you meet other streamers, the chances are they're interested in something you're interested in. So yeah, and it's just really easy for us all to just, you know, be ourselves, and to be ourselves with each other as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I'm talking too much.
No, you're right. So what, I guess we've sort of spoken about all the positives of networking and getting to know each other, and especially from the Australians' perspective. I guess the other thing is, what have you hit that you find to be a roadblock as an Australian streamer, and struggles that you've found?
Time zones.
The look on Beck's face says it all. I'm opening the can of worms. Time zones is an interesting one. Like, I find that because my regular streaming time, and you guys are very similar, is around 7:30 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Time at the moment.
Yeah, it depends on the day.
Daylight savings has been my worst nightmare. And so I guess, like, for me, it's okay. People that are Australians that aren't streamers or streamers who aren't streaming that night are my audience, and a lot of European people because it's morning time over there. It is the worst time for Americans. It's like anywhere from 1 a.m. to about 5 that I start. You know, and that's I'm trying to do a lot more morning streams, but then it's like, okay, it's a whole new demographic for me now, because they're not people like my regular ones that have followed me. They'll come and watch, but it's like I haven't tapped into that side of things. I'm very lucky that I can do morning streams because of the way my work is, but I find that I'm almost not starting from scratch, but starting a whole new dynamic because it's a whole different time zone. Like, even streaming now, like, it's weird time for people like Danny, for example. It's like past midnight or whatever the hell it is. And it's so, you know, time zones is our biggest battle. Internet is the other one. Internet quality is an interesting one for people. I mean,
Quality.
Koala crew. No, sorry.
Koala crew.
Good lord.
And it's not even like bad internet. It's unreliable internet.
It's just not
is the problem
stable.
for us. It's not stable. It's like you don't know what it's going to be like from one day to the next.
Yeah.
At the moment, mine's, oh god, knock on wood, mine's been pretty consistent. And like I managed to stream a podcast yesterday morning and then stream for 10 hours consecutively with no problems.
Yep.
But some days I'll do a 12-hour stream and have to restart it 5 times. And it's like, because it keeps dropping frames or whatever.
Usually will drop out at the end of a 12-hour stream. I think the last couple of 12-hour streams I've done, it's dropped
and like
1
the
hour.
11th hour, your stream will drop. And you're like, no, I was so close.
So close.
But that's like, and that's the thing. You don't know until you hit go live what your internet is going to do, and it's a constant stress for Australian streamers.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I am always filled with anxiety the moment I hit the go live button, waiting for it to drop frames or not, and I can't relax until I've seen it for like 5 minutes be okay, and I'm like, okay. But like that's the thing. If some like internet will go down with no warning, and like. Because I live in South Australia, power will go out with no warning because our power is fucking hopeless. And that makes the internet go out and the stream will crash and then that crashes slobs and then I have to restart the computer and it's a snowball effect every single time. Why does Australia have such terrible internet? Because our government sucks. That's why.
I was going to say, I wonder where Beck's going to go with this.
Our government is the worst. They are so far behind as far as internet is concerned. We only just got like fiber optics put in the last 5 years or so. Still not even the whole country has it, and it is abysmally slow.
I was going to say, and
like,
they're piggybacking old tech off of new tech and all this other stupid stuff anyway.
New Zealand's internet is amazing. We found that out when we went there.
Yeah,
and it's like it's loads better than ours. And
I was so depressed the other day. I got a screenshot from Danny, right? And he's going, "Oh god, the internet's running so bad today." And it was like wireless. It wasn't even wired. Like, it was wireless, and it was like 150 megabits per second. Like, we can't even we can't even achieve that.
This is a good day for my net, right? 20 down, 5 up. That's a good day.
Yeah.
That's like as good as it gets. A bad day is literally 400 kilobits down and nothing up.
Oh, yeah,
that's how bad it can get.
Oh dear.
And it's like, at that point, you can't even use the internet because it's so horrendous.
But see,
Americans and New Zealanders and Europeans and anyone that isn't Australia don't get this because even India has better internet than us. That's fucked.
Yeah, like we just genuinely, our internet is just non-functional sometimes.
It's worse, and it's because our government just doesn't put enough stock or like value in having decent internet. And I don't know what their fucking problem is, but they need to fix it. It's driving all of the streamers in this country insane. It's just so unreliable. It's like South Australia's power. It just shuts off with no warning at any moment, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Tasmania just sinks below the waters.
50 megabits being bad. What?
Yeah, no, that's like, yeah. So I was like, well, that sucks. I just
I would murder a baby to get internet.
Jesus. Podcast
I
cancelled.
wouldn't actually murder a baby. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. I don't put that in the chat.
obviously, but our
it is
Australian internet
shocking.
fucking worst.
Yeah.
Yep, no.
And it's our government's fault. Blame them completely.
God. So yeah, no, I guess that's always going to be an issue, or it's going to be a long-term issue. And even like as technology develops, unless we catch up, we're just going to always be that step behind. I guess I'm trying to be optimistic.
You're having a bloody laugh.
Twitch ban. If I get it, I'll send her a so,
Well, that's true.
yeah,
Smashed it.
pay for it. Oh yeah, no, and it's like, yeah, so it's just, I guess we battle those things, and time, and like I said, time zones. We've sort of covered that, and even just like expensive things, you know, we for us to be able to support others and do like, you know, sub to people and whatever else, because
it's so much more expensive for us.
It's incredibly expensive, you know. Everyone says
Exchange rate.
$5 for a sub, and it's like, no, by the time you do our
No,
conversions of that, it's like
it's
$9 or something
It's
sometimes.
$6 because of conversion rates and because we actually get marked up as tax on
Yep.
Twitch for anything
Yep.
we purchase because we're Australian, and that's fucked. But like, it's like that with everything. It's not just Twitch. On Steam, all of our games are marked up in price. On like any kind of like digital gaming platform, on the PlayStation Network, on anything, games are marked up for us because of a region related thing. And like, shipping is so much more expensive. Like, for me to get my Elgato capture device, it was roughly the same, like, for me to buy the actual device, but to get it shipped here was almost half of what the device cost.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's this teeny tiny little thing that weighs nothing. And it's like, why?
Why is it so
And to live in
expensive?
Antarctica, why does it cost so much?
Oh, it's so
And
bad.
it's because we're an island at the ass crack of the world and nobody wants to ship anything.
Make it an island on an island at the ass crack of the world.
You're
okay?
an island below the island in the ass
I was
crack.
gonna say-
You're the ass crack of the ass crack of the
There's
world.
an extra week for anything to get here.
God,
If
there's
Australia's the crack, Tassie's the hole. Seriously. No, well, I'm saying, like, it's difficult to get things to the mainland of Australia. It's even harder to get things to Tassie. It's insane. Like, you guys get absolutely gypped on everything just because you're, like, this far away from the mainland. It's so dumb.
if you take
Like, I'm sticking up for you here. It's
if you
stupid.
take anything away from today's podcast, Tasmania is the whole of the
It's
arse
the
crack of
arsehole
Australia.
the world.
That's the big takeaway. Good
Yeah, I
lord.
know New Zealand has the same problem because it is an island, you know, in the middle of nowhere. Like, I would argue New Zealand's more in the middle of nowhere than we are, because at least we're a big island. New Zealand's a little one.
Yeah, exactly.
New Zealand's still a big place, but like it's not nowhere near the scale that Australia is. But like, New Zealand's like 4 Tasmanias, I think, or
Yeah.
not even 3 Tasmanias. Tassie's a big place. So like, but yeah, it's just insane how much more expensive it is to be an Australian and stream.
Oh,
It's
exactly.
actually
Oh my god,
stupid.
it's so
I know
bad.
the equipment too, because not a lot of local
Yeah.
places, especially for me. Like, I had to buy most of my stuff online.
Yeah, we have to get everything
yeah.
online and get it shipped, and it's so expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think most of mine stuff came from overseas, because otherwise it was just gonna, even with the postage, it was like, it's still more expensive here by the time they mark everything up.
I've
So-
absolutely bought stuff for streaming where the postage has been more expensive than the thing I've gotten.
Yeah.
Like this,
Yes.
for example. I got this network switch, which I don't have cables for yet, but it's so I can have my computer and my PlayStation hooked up to the wired internet, because I have no Wi-Fi out here. But that network switch cost me $17, and the shipping from Melbourne was $27.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? It literally has to come 14 hours from one state to another. Why is this costing me twice as much as the fucking thing I'm buying?
It's
I don't
shocking.
understand.
Ridiculous.
It is
Absolutely
shocking.
shocking.
It's so
Ugh.
bad. So,
Yeah,
I,
it's so
I guess
bad.
I guess the other thing we haven't really touched on, and I know that you guys obviously have a lot. Well, there's two aspects to us as streamers as well. One is that we are all members of the, I'm going to get the acronym wrong. Can someone say it, because I'm going to get it wrong? LB something.
LGBTQIA+,
LGBT.
my friend.
I was just going to say a few letters all in the wrong order then.
LGBTQIA+.
There
Yeah.
you go. Thank you. And then obviously for you guys as well, being women streamers. So you've got that side of things as well, which, you know, is it's
That's fun.
I was going to say. So let's go with the women streamer. I won't say issue. Well, it is an issue because it really shouldn't be what it is, but it is.
I don't want to say issue either because it's, in the grand scheme of things, the trolls and the like disgusting people that come in our streams are 1% of the people that come in our streams.
Yeah.
But when they are there, they're so loud about it that it's like it makes everyone else in the stream uncomfortable, especially the streamer.
Yeah.
And like it happens too often to ignore.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But like, let's be very clear that it is not a majority. It is a minuscule minority. It's just that
It's a loud one.
like, we have so
It's
many
all
new
very
people
loud,
coming in that it does happen pretty often.
Yeah.
It's just a ban and move on.
Yeah.
That's the way
why we have
manage.
amazing mods. We have mods who help us
Have
out. So
amazing
quite often they'll
moderators.
catch it before we see it. I know I saw
I
one once and was like,
yeah.
what did you ban him for? And they sent me the message and direct message like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you didn't even see it. Yeah. Sometimes you don't even see it, and you look at your chat and someone's been banned, and then like I'll look at my mod chat and they'll be in there being like, oh, they were saying this, and I'll be like, okay, whatever. And then you just don't even have to acknowledge it on the stream.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, you like sometimes it'll be people that'll jump in and immediately be like, show us your tits, and it's like ban. But like sometimes you'll get people that will come in and they'll just say creepy things, and you like are trying to figure out whether they're being creepy or whether they're just a bit strange, because sometimes it can be a fine line. And like once it becomes obvious that they're being creepy, it pisses me off that people think they can come into anybody's stream, not just a woman's stream, anyone's stream, and behave so inappropriately. And it's like, I'm a human being. I'm here to entertain people and to have fun. I'm not here to show you my tits. If you want that, go to fucking Pornhub. Like, seriously. I don't understand the mentality of the people that do this. I don't know why they do it. So every time I see somebody coming in, I try my best to call them out on it, because I don't want them to make everyone else uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I take that and I flip it on them, and I try my hardest to make them super uncomfortable by like questioning them about like, why do you do this? How do you think I'm going to respond to you? What the fuck is wrong with your brain? Like, get out of my Twitch. And I saw something recently, Witchy Twitchy, who was formerly
oh yes, yeah, Pseudopoise.
Yes, formerly
Pseudopoise,
Pseudopoise on Twitch. She had one really creepy guy in her chat, and the way she handled it was fucking awesome. And she's just
amazing.
like calls him out on it, and she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And like that's how we should handle it. But sometimes it's easier to just ban and move on.
Yeah, quite often I just will say, look, that's not appropriate, and one of the mods will be onto it or ban them already. I'm like, okay.
Now, like, having a community of people who will cut anyone who comes into your stream talking like that feels pretty amazing and pretty empowering. What did you just do on the stream? I saw that.
What's
I
that?
saw that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Display capture, right?
Yeah. I just hovered over something and the whole thing disappeared. I'm like, what happened? They're back.
Yeah, well, Magic, in your case, like, to be perfectly honest, when you first started coming into my streams, it did make me uncomfortable, but now I know that that's just you. And like, I'm not saying you're creepy. I'm saying you're just having fun, and it's like we get that you're not trying to be creepy. We get that you're just, that's just how you are, and it's your brand of humor, and that's fine. Like, and we know you now, and you moderate all of our Twitches, so
he shadow mods mine. I haven't quite pushed him that
he
far.
shadow mods yours. Don't give him a sword. It's not worth it. Tyson.
Okay, I've got enough crazy people modding now.
It is a compliment, Magic. Like, I'm saying that it takes sometimes, and that's the fine line. Like, sometimes you can't tell if somebody's in your stream just to be creepy, or if they just don't really know that they're being inappropriate, or if like they're literally just joking and trying to get a rise out of people. But
I'll get these random messages from people, and I don't know whether they're trolls or being creepy, or they're just someone who wants to chat. It's really hard. Like, like how to deal with them, you just don't know.
You were talking about this on Twitter the other day, weren't you? Or was that similar to
similar thing? So I'll just get messages say, oh, you want a date, you want to do this, and like, you do realize I am in a relationship. But I'm
The
not
the honestly, and that was.
Nerds of
Yeah, I
Oz.
was gonna say, yeah. The irony in that was, and I said about it on Twitter, the same thing had happened. Like Danny had just gone back to doing a bit of like
That's right.
IRL streaming because his PC's now dead, and
Yeah.
that's a whole thing. And it was like, so the same thing had happened. It was like I was modding his chat, and we knew everyone in there for the most part. And then this guy come along and was like, "Are you single?" And Danny's just sitting there going, "No," and then I'm like. No, he's not. Like, but it was that moment, and he's like, "Oh, who are you dating?" And it's like, "Me." And he just
Super awkward.
he just freaked, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it." I'm like, why would you feel that it's appropriate to just go into a random? You've just popped into the chat and go, "I like you." It's like. You just well, that's weird. Like, I'm sorry.
It's weird, right? It's weird to do that, to go into like a stranger's Twitch and be like, "Oh, you're so pretty," or like all of this like creepy shit, and like, let's make it clear, it's a stranger thing. Like, my mods and my regulars will come into my stream and like tell me that I look nice today, and that makes me feel good. But like when a stranger comes in and says, "Oh, you're so pretty," or "Oh, I love your accent, it's so cute," I'm like, "Oh God, you are like weeding me out right now. I don't like it."
I'm used to the accent one. I get that all the time.
Yeah, well, there are ways to say it without sounding creepy.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. But like, there's also like sometimes if somebody will go, "Oh, you look really pretty," I'll be like, "Oh, thank you." But if they continue to do it, it's obvious that they're being creepy, and it's like, okay, you need to stop because I don't actually know you. And it's like, I had one just the other day. Somebody DM'd me on Discord and was like, "Oh, hey, I really like your streams. Do you want to play some Assassin's Creed together later?" And I don't even own Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so I don't know where they got that idea from. But I was like, one, I've never seen this person in my streams ever. So either they just watch and don't chat, or they've literally just like gone to one stream and now they're messaging me being like, "Oh, do you want to play games together?" I'm like, no. I don't know you. And on my stream last night, I had somebody ask me like, "Can you add me as a friend on PSN?" And I was like, no. And like,
I get friend requests as well. It's like, I don't know you. I only set friends requests from people I know. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
And they're like, "Oh."
That's the way I explain it. I've had people ask me to add them on Facebook, and I'm like, I don't add people on my personal Facebook. I don't even add my Twitch moderators on my personal Facebook because I'm a private. Like, I try to keep that private because that's just for me and my friends and my family.
I feel privileged.
And like, that's just for me, my friends, and my family. That is not ever going to be a public thing.
No.
And it's like, I have other platforms for public things. I have my Twitch, my Twitter, and my Instagram, and my Discord. That's all my public platforms. Get out of my personal platform.
Yeah,
Thank you
hard.
very much.
I had people find me on Facebook because I've now got everything privatized. But I actually had people who found me on my Facebook were sending me invites and like, "Henry, why aren't you setting my friend invite on Facebook?" Like,
sorry.
I only have that off there in real life, just for my friends and family. That's it. And they got really abusive. And,
wow.
Yeah, I've had that before too. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, my Twitch. That's enough. Discord, that's enough. Facebook is my Facebook page, fine, but my
I'd say from the reverse side of things, like, you know, I make a joke all the time about the fact that Beck stalked me on.
Not you, Magic.
But
I mean, I'll own it. I absolutely stalked you. Because I met you in real life, and it was such a chance thing, and it was so like, and I was like, he was kind of cool, like because we were on our way to the same convention.
Yeah.
And when you go to a convention, it's nice to like meet up with people and like talk to people you wouldn't normally talk to, because everybody at that convention is there for the same thing, and you all share this big common interest. It's the same thing on Twitch. And it's like, so when you go to a convention, you do end up making friends, and it's really weird. Like, we met Essie Bessie Jess at RTS Sydney as well. And you, Tyson, and we meet up with NATO, and we meet up with Dawn, and people we get to see literally once a year at RTX. That is where we see them. And like, how do I unsub? And yeah, it was just such a chance thing that I was like, when I met you, you were nice, and I thought you were like a cool person and somebody I like, and I could tell. I think I could tell as well that you were super shy and like you were traveling on your own. And like when I asked if you were meeting someone at the convention, you said no, and I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. I felt sad that you didn't have anyone to hang out with.
Oh,
so I was like, I'm gonna
it's pity
invite him to
friendship.
hang out. No, I just like when you go to a convention, you want people to feel welcome, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
us being YouTubers who go to the convention specifically because of our YouTubes, and we were having this meetup with people who watch our YouTube and watch our Twitch. So I was like, I'll invite him to this meetup because it's not going to be just us, you know, it's a big group of people, and it's a chance to include this person who otherwise might spend the weekend alone, which to me I was like,
You just got roped into our little crazy group of people.
it's a weird thought. Like thinking back then, it was like, because I feel that, and I've spoken about it before, but Twitch has been a big thing for my confidence and being able to, there's no way in hell 12 months ago would have done this. Like there's no way in hell. And it's like, all right, cool, you know, and it was that moment of like, I was sitting there as well going, do I say hello? Do I not? It's obvious that she's going to RTX because, you know, you're wearing a Ruby shirt and whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. So I did that. And then even going to the thing, I was like, sitting back now, I was like, I don't remember anyone from that at the time. Obviously, I know now because we've gone through that. It was like, I didn't even think of the fact that Larissa was sitting at the table. And like I feel so bad now because it's like Larissa's amazing, and it's like I probably just didn't even. I'm just like, oh, there's a person.
You didn't know her.
No.
You didn't know anyone there. The only person you'd met was me, and you'd met me like that day. So like, it was really strange. Yeah.
I still haven't.
Because we flew in. When did we fly into Sydney? Did we fly in that morning, and then the meetup was that night? I don't know. Or did we fly in Thursday and the meetup?
I think it was the day before.
We flew in Thursday, and the meetup was on Friday night. Yeah, before the convention. But yeah, and like, you didn't know anyone. The only person you'd met was me, and you didn't know me from a bar of soap. I could have been a psycho for all you knew. I did stalk you on Twitter, so like.
I just willingly went, I'll go.
It wasn't a malicious thing. It was like I wanted you to feel included. I wanted you to have someone to spend the weekend with because I was also traveling alone to the convention, but when I got there, I had Larissa that I was meeting up with, and we were spending the whole weekend together, and we were both staying in Sydney together. And it's like I felt so bad for this poor guy who seemed like a really nice guy, just like going to this convention alone. I was like, I can't have that. Like it's really hard to enjoy an experience like that if you have to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot easier to enjoy an experience like a convention if you have a group of friends to hang out with. So we just I kind of like grabbed you and dragged you into our group.
So now she knows what I'm really like. It's like,
Now I regret everything.
All the regret. Understandable. But yeah, no, and I guess that's one of those things where, especially with the Twitch stuff, you learn to just... I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have my guard up with certain things, not with you guys specifically, but just the general, like, Twitch viewing, you know, which you've got to, because there's so many bad people out there as well.
So many creeps and psychos out there.
But I guess you've also got to learn to go, all right, I will deal with those situations when they come up. I can't sit there being in constant fear because then it's going to impact on, God, magic. It's going to impact on my performance as an entertainer, if you want to call it that, or whatever, because I'm so focused on, oh god, what if someone horrible comes into the chat, or you know, and that took a long time for me to be able to just deal with that. And now it's like, oh look, you know, I've got amazing mods, I've got people who I trust can do that, you know, I've got even my regular followers who will immediately go away, you idiot.
Yeah.
You know, and that just shows, you know, they're very protective of us as content creators. And know how we operate and what our limits are for the most part. And even if they overstep that, they know that we're not going to go off at them. We'll have a chat with them, you know, and say, oh, look, thank you. I appreciate that you were supporting, but this is probably not the best way to do it, you know. And so there is that as well. So, you know, we're very lucky that we've been able to build a community from that perspective and not have that issue of, it's not just our moderator. Oh, speaking of Bees Weasel. Oh, you won't, Bees. You won't hear your entrance. They're off for the podcast. Play your music.
You're gonna have to play it now, Ty.
All right, hang on. Just because it's Bees, we're gonna have a musical interlude. Hang on, I gotta find it. Song request. I don't know how loud it's gonna be. Oh no, not song request. What am I going song request for? Events.
Tyson knows how to stream.
I'm professional. Look at me go.
And now the Streamlabs chatbot is over my face.
Oh.
I nearly called me you. Wow.
Get out of it. Get out of it. There you go. All right, hang on. Oh, how loud is this going to be? Oh, well, we'll try it.
Is it still over backspace? I think it is. Oh, no, you're getting rid of it now.
No, it's gone.
Here we go.
I don't know if you can
It's
hear
fine.
it.
I know I look ugly today, but you don't have to rub it in. Jesus.
I don't know how loud it is. It doesn't sound very loud. Can anyone hear it?
Morgana, how dare you?
Oh, well,
I just turned the volume up so I can hear it.
There we go. I guess that's as loud as I'm going to be able to get it. It's quite soft. Yeah, it's normally louder for this. It wasn't on. Is it
I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
I heard it. But
It was very
quiet,
yeah. I can't do it any louder without messing all the settings up for the podcast. So yeah. Oh, and thank you for the. Oh my God, it's been 5 months for you as well. Good Lord.
Thanks. I don't know how that much time has passed.
I
It's just
know,
crazy.
it's crazy. We were talking about you earlier. It was all good.
Yeah, mostly.
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 Occasionally. No. You're alright. You're alright.
And yeah, but like as far as like creepy people or trolls are concerned, for every one of those people, there's 100 more that are just amazing. So it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't bother us that much. Sometimes we'll have an incident that's particularly bad, so bad that we want to like tweet about it or whatever. But at the end of the day, everybody who's in your community, and like if someone comes into the chat and is like that, they'll just get banned. Everyone will go, "What an idiot," and then move on. And it's like, and
oh my God,
especially.
dabbing bee. Sorry, that's awesome.
It's like my
Oh, the dabbing
community's
bee.
gotten really-
Sorry.
I feel like my community's gotten really good at recognizing when something has made me uncomfortable and doing their best to make me feel better.
Yeah.
And that's a really awesome thing.
Just to answer your question, my podcast will depend on who's on. Because it was Beck and Larissa, it was really easy for us to just talk about, because our communities overlap so much, because we're all Twitch streamers, and for the most part, everyone who's going to be on these is probably going to be Twitch streamers. But yeah, there will be podcasts where I'll have specific... but today's, Aussie, being an Aussie streamer, what we sort of deal with, being from the communities we're in, and so yeah, it's going to be every podcast is going to be different from that perspective. It's going to be very variety in that way, and I will sort of assess how it's going. I have done podcasts in the past for YouTube, and that is sort of where I'm half getting the inspiration from, but that was a lot more freeform, and that was with friends that I've known for years, and just shenanigans pretty much. But yeah, there'll be some structure, but it's pretty much, today was... We're Aussie streamers. Let's talk about anything to do with that, how we deal with it, how we've established it, how we built communities, how we network, how we, and what we're doing may not work for you, but it's a thing that, and if you're not a Twitch streamer, just being here and listening to us ramble and, listening to our stories and what's happened and probably getting a bit of a perspective from who we are. I mean, for the most part, our communities very much overlap, but there are some people who may not know who, SheNoob is or Nerds of Oz. And
how dare they?
Well, that's what I'm trying to fix with this, and see, I'm part of a stream team, for example, so I'd love to have, a member of from the stream team I'm on come on and speak to them about things. And so, yeah, there will be a diverse sort of range of stuff. So yeah,
Aye.
I seen that. Hang on.
Just doing my mod duties. And there was one other thing that I wanted to bring up. I forgot to bring it up. Let's just shout each other out, sure. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up on the topic of like massively like impactful moments. You shout yourself out. Of like impactful moments in streams. The biggest one that comes to my mind was my mental health stream that I did last month. And was that last month? Yeah, it was.
That seems a long time ago.
And I know, time goes too quickly. But like, it was a stream that I decided to do at the last minute, just on a whim, because like Tyson, I know you were having a hard time at that time, and Mrs. Lante was having a really hard time, and Grumpy was, and like so many of my streamer friends had just quit streaming for that week because their mental health was getting to them so much. So I felt like I wanted to do that stream to sort of like rally everyone together and just have a chat about what was bothering us. And I knew that I wanted to get the ball rolling by sharing some experiences that I've never ever shared before on the internet. And it was the outpouring of support I received for that last minute stream. I announced it like the night before, and like just the like outpouring of support on Twitter and like people sharing the stream. And then I had like upwards of 86 people on the stream. It was like, and like raids from people I didn't even know that were jumping into the stream just to support me because they knew somebody who knew me. And it's like the absolute outpouring of support, and then NATO dropping the $200 worth of donos as well. And like when I was telling, as he does, when I was telling my stories, and like it was, I'm gonna get emotional talking about this, but it was a lot of things that were really difficult for me to talk about and really hard for me to share. And but I wanted to do it, like even if I could inspire one other person to have the courage to do that for themselves, then it would be worth it. And like it was very personal things that I never thought I would ever talk about on Twitch, because there are things I hadn't even talked about to people closest to me, things that Corey didn't even know, and I tell him everything. I tell him everything, unashamedly everything. And it's like these were things I hadn't told him, and and it was really hard thing for me to do, and a hard thing to confront. But everybody that was on the stream was so amazing and so supportive. And Tyson, you jumped in and you talked about your experiences, and that was awesome for you to back me up and for you to cancel your stream to support my stream. And like for people to be coming in, people that I knew that like didn't necessarily, like E.B. Blanche, who we always stream at the same time, so we never get to like she usually starts before me, so I'm always on her stream before my stream starts. But then once I'm streaming, she usually doesn't have time to come on because she goes to bed. But like she never really gets to be in my streams, but she came and she stayed for the whole stream to support me. And it's like it was just amazing to see everybody supporting not only me but supporting Tyson and supporting everyone who was on there sharing their stories in the chat. Like going back and watching that VOD and just reading the chat is incredible, because I didn't get time to read it all during the stream because it was going too fast. But just reading people's stories and seeing them like pour their hearts out, and seeing everyone else in the chat being so supportive of them, and then continuing the discussion on my Discord. It was a strange night. It was a very emotional night, but it was an incredible night. And I felt like after that stream, I felt like the biggest weight in the world was lifted off my shoulders, because I'd suddenly got all of this stuff off of my chest that I didn't even know I needed to get off my chest.
Yeah.
And things that I had literally been suppressing for a long time and trying not to think about and trying to just forget that they ever happened, because it's easier than confronting it. And confronting it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was definitely worth it. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who supported that stream, and you, Tyson, as well. And Larissa, I know you couldn't be there for most of the stream that night, but
sadly no, but it's probably for the best.
you supported me in your own ways, so that's outside of that stream.
Yes.
But,
I look at it from two perspectives with what you did that night as well. Obviously, it was incredibly, I guess the word is cleansing for you, in that you were able to vent your frustrations, your feelings, your anger.
So cleansing.
And just to, hit that release button, after a long time. I guess the other thing, and it really speaks to the kind of content creator that you are, and that we are as the people we are, is that it was that moment of, I have a platform in which I can reach people, and hopefully in one way or another, even if they aren't directly relating to what I'm saying, they can relate to some of it and go, maybe it's time that I can deal with my issues, problems, mental health, physical health, anything along those lines, and actually address it rather than hide it. And the biggest thing that you said that really struck me, and I'm sure it struck everyone else in the chat at the time, was enough is enough of hiding this stuff. It is 2018, rolling into 2019 now. We should not have to hide any of this crap. It is a part of everyday life. Lots of people suffer with mental health. You know, lots of people deal with every aspect of that, whether it's themselves or a family member or a friend or whatever. And it's a time for change. It shouldn't be frowned upon. It shouldn't be, you know, and if anyone took anything away from you pouring your heart out, was the fact that you should be able to step up and go, I don't care what the minority think, whether it is loud or not. Enough is enough. It's time for change. And that's what was should have been taken out of that, you know. And once again, it was using that platform that we've all built and our communities and the people we've gotten to know, and seeing that level of support really shows that networking is powerful. And so you sort of not gained as such, but it was like, you've gained a personal thing here by being able to address it. You've also gained a professional thing because people are like, look at what she's doing. Look at the respect, you know, a newfound respect, or if you had respect, more respect for that person. And then on top of all that, having the ability to bring other people from other communities in and go, you know, this is what I'm doing, this is what I think, and, you know, and it may not work for you, or, you know, but maybe you'll take something from this. So it was a very multi, you know, faceted result would be the way I would have. Yeah.
The two things that came out of that stream that were the most important to me were you, Tyson, and Danny as well, sharing your stories about mental health and your experience with your relationship being in the public eye since the beginning. And also talking about how you, Tyson, came to me while I was in New Zealand, and Larissa by extension, because I was talking to her about it as well, and like me being able to help you with discovering yourself and your sexuality. And that was like, as somebody who struggled with it unknowingly for a long time, and more recently is still struggling with it, not struggling with who I am, but struggling with people accepting who I am, but people close to me. But the other thing was that after that stream, like I think it was the next day, somebody I didn't even know, and I don't recall seeing them in the chat, messaged me on my Twitter and told me that they were a victim of sexual assault, and they had never told anyone about it. And I had given them the courage to go to the people closest to them and tell them what had happened.
Aww.
And that they wanted to say thank you to me for giving them the courage to do that. Oh, God. And that was like the whole reason I did the stream, was to reach out to people and tell them that they can have the courage to do that. If I can do, like the whole point of the stream was, if I can do this in front of all of these people, then you can do it as well. And it's like, you know, that was really important to me.
And that's exactly the point. Yeah, what I was saying is, you said that very early on in that stream, was even if it affects one person, even if it has a positive effect on one person, it's worth it. And obviously, and you know, you deserve every praise under the sun here. It was more than one person, obviously, but you know, you seeing that result afterwards was like, So no, so that's good. So is there anything else you want to cover? Anything Twitch-wise?
I think I've talked way too much already, and now I'm crying, so that's good.
Great way to...
I think on that note as well, like just inspiring people. I've had so many people like message me saying that I've inspired them to do Twitch themselves, or to be more open about themselves as well. It's really weird when you're just doing this thing, you're just being yourself and just having fun and doing what you want to do, and you have someone approach you, goes, oh, you inspire me to do what I wanted to do. And it's just like, how did I do that? Like, it's so weird. But
it's such a weird thing to hear somebody tell you that you inspired them to do something. It's a bizarre thing, and it's like, I don't think, like, I'm sure none of us think of ourselves as inspirational in any way, shape, or form. And it's like, it's such a weird thing, because like I know I have my streamer friends inspire me constantly. Corey inspires me with his strength every single day, and just the way that he has changed over time and become a new person. And Larissa, you inspire me every single fucking day to be a better version of myself and to be a better version of myself as a streamer. Mrs. Lante inspires the fuck out of me because she's the strongest, baddest bitch I know. Like, she comes at me and she tells me that I'm the strongest bitch she knows, and I'm like, bitch, you're 10 times stronger than me. Like, the amount of things that woman has been through and has kicked in the ass, it's like, holy. Mrs. Lante's the strongest woman on this planet. Like, seriously. And she's just incredible. And, like, Evie inspires me to be more positive and to, because if you aren't aware, Evie Blanche is another streamer who is incredible. And thank you. And she is actually, I was about to say that.
I'm modded, yay.
Actually, I don't want to use the word disabled. And I don't want to use the word amputee, but she is missing her right leg. And it's because of a degenerative disease that she has. I don't remember what it's called. If any of you know, please put it in the chat. Yeah. But it basically, her cells attack themselves, and she lost her leg to this disease. And I think it happened some time ago. So it's like, she's fine about it. But, like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that she was disabled until several months after I started watching her streams, and it just sort of came up in a stream once, and I was like, wait, what? But she has the best attitude about it. She is just incredible. She's one of those glass half full people where she's like, it could be worse. You know, my life is okay, everything's fine, and she inspires me to be more like that. Where, like, whenever I'm having a shitty day, I go to Evie's stream, and I'm immediately like, my life isn't so bad.
See, that for me, that's Mrs. L. I go to Mrs. Lante's stream, and it's like, oh god, I'm
just gonna be laughing watching Mrs. L streams.
And Mrs. L stream, I always cry laugh watching her stream.
Yes.
She's just incredible.
She's out of her mind, but it's so good.
And Cooper as well, I cry laugh watching her streams because her joy is so infectious.
I say it all the time. Cooper is just a national treasure. She is so... Hang on.
Teefl's great too. I love watching Teefl's streams whenever I can.
I like watching Teefl's streams because they're so chill and she's so calm, such a calm individual.
She's talking to everyone in the chat. Like, she doesn't get much done in game.
Yeah. Even though she always has a lot of people watching, she does her best to keep up with the chat. And
sorry for spamming the chat.
A lot of the time to the detriment of the game that she's playing. Like, she'll just stand there and die because she's talking to the
I
chat
can relate
too
to
much.
that. Yeah, no, and that's the mentality. I get that completely.
But that's what I love about Tearful, and she's just a lovely person in general. But Mrs. Lante for me is somebody that inspires me to be more confident. She, like, lifts me up as a woman and as a person, and she makes me feel more confident in myself. And, like, when I'm on her streams, I am a super confident version of myself that I will never ever be on my own streams.
Yeah.
And it's like, her confidence is infectious. The thing is, she exudes such confidence that she does not feel within herself. She has so many insecurities that are just like, I'm like, what are you talking about? You're an amazing human being and you should own it. But she just has so much self-doubt and so much insecurity, and I can relate to that very strongly. But, like, she fucking rocks it. I love her.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, you're talking about people inspiring and that. The other thing that's come up more recently is that I've had a few streamers since being on the stream team side of things that have come to me asking for advice, or I mentored somebody and it was like, sure. Like, I still make every mistake under the sun, but it's like there was that moment of, no, we like the way, how do you work with your community, how do you, like, interact with your chat, like what do you see as important things? It's like, that's that moment where you're like, maybe I am actually doing something right. Like, there's always that level of self-doubt, like you're always going to have that.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'm 100% more confident than I was when I first started, and I'm sure we all are. You know, you develop as a streamer as time goes on, and keep going on with that. But it's like having someone who I've mentored and then they've come back to me and go, you know, everything you've told me, everything you've sort of, like, guided me with or given advice with. It's like it's worked, and it's like, oh wow, okay. So you know, and that's a big part of it, is you should never, as a streamer, not just an Aussie streamer, a streamer in general, don't look at other streamers as competition. That is the biggest thing that I see frustrations with, and don't get jealous of other streamers, and don't get, you know.
It's not a good look.
No.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. My phone just rang. I think it was a scam caller. Sorry.
But you dropped everything.
My phone is supposed to be on silent.
How dare you? No.
Right.
But you know, and I guess it's that, you know, even if it's not necessarily working, or you know, just giving your opinion sometimes, and you go, oh, you know, this is my version of how I do things. I guess, you know, and the biggest things as a streamer, you know, your chat is number one. It doesn't matter what game you're playing. It doesn't matter where it's a podcast. It doesn't matter with no competition with blasphemy. Yeah, but like, there's a difference between like. There's been times where I'm like, oh, like that one stage there, I honestly thought I was going to overtake Beck with followers recently.
Yeah.
And I was
So
like,
did I. I think we all thought you were going to overtake us.
and I was like, but then I obviously, with my health situation, hit a massive brick wall, and it's like, oh shit. But you know, and it was like that, and then I, you know, come back and it's like, I see that Beck has just steamed ahead, like she's gone, she's run off in the distance.
Beck's
like,
overtaken me, you know.
and it's like,
I was ahead of her.
oh, barely.
Barely.
And I just look at that and go, I'm not disappointed. I'm happy because
that's
the thing. You can't be jealous of other people's success, especially if there's somebody you care about. If you really care about somebody, like and their success on Twitch, you just be happy for them and support them and say, that's amazing, you smashed that, good on you. And it's like, you just can't let jealousy be a thing, because the thing about growth on Twitch is it comes and goes, and it comes in waves. And like I've had months at a time where my channel has just gone nowhere, and then the last couple of months have been crazy. And it's like, and that's the nature of growth on Twitch, is that's what it does. It's not constant, it comes and goes. And it's like that for everybody.
Well, I mean,
what is happening in the chat right now?
Someone's just gifted an anonymous sub to Zenfrox, and I don't know. Thank you, anonymous person. Now everyone, and someone blame magic, which is normal.
It's probably magic.
It's probably.
So no, it was like, I guess, yeah. I've lost my train of thought now. So, what was I saying? Good Lord.
Success on Twitch.
Yeah, like. I had, as I said, I had the incredible run in September and early October, and it was unheard amounts of growth. Like, it shouldn't have been that insane. And I sometimes say to people, you know, whilst I 100% appreciate that, I think it was almost too much for me at once, because it went from being a smaller, and it's still a small thing, but a smaller thing to like a community that actually exists and it's happening. Yeah. And I think that sort of forced my hand with like, and which we can sort of touch on that now, if you guys aren't in a hurry, are you? No. Because what we haven't also talked about is, I was one of the first people to go to my friends and that and go, I don't like the idea of having this branding name, and you know, I find it a bit, at the time I thought it was corny. And it's like, you know, oh, my followers are such and such, and it's like, you know, okay, right. And so when it got to that point, everyone was like urging me to come up with an idea. And at that stage, I hadn't met Bees Weasel, and everyone was going down the path of, bees and hives and things, which is pretty much Bees Weasel's gimmick now. Like, his is all, you know, bees and hives and stuff.
Yes.
He calls his following the hive. So it's like, well, the obvious thing I'm really passionate about is Pokemon and Dragonite. Dragonite is my favorite Pokemon. And so I was like going through the idea, and I'm like, oh, well, you know, the Dragon's Den, because it's from my favorite game, Pokemon Crystal. So I went with that, and it caught. So, you know, now my, you know, my followers, which I don't refer to them very often. It comes up on the thing, but it's the Dragon Tamers, and they're, you know, members of the Dragon's Den. And my subs are Dragon Elite. And it's like, all right, cool. Yeah. You know, so you build this brand, and my Discord's the same, and everything's Dragon this, Dragon that, you know. Now I'm known as the Dragonite streamer, you know, like everything's Dragonite. This overlay is Dragonite, you know. And I now I've very much embraced it, because it's that almost encompassing, tying together thing that brings it all together. But at the time,
Yeah.
I was like, it's gonna sound lame as hell. Like, now it's like I'm all for it. And I guess you guys have got your individual community names and how you brand it and that. And as you said earlier, Beck, you're just coming to terms with the Noob Army stuff a bit more now than what you were.
Well, I wanted to talk about this because like I was in the exact same boat as you, and like I've been doing YouTube for a long time. Never ever have I given my community a name on there, and I'm like, it's the lamest thing ever. I will never do it. But when I started streaming properly on Twitch and like after I got affiliated, I was always calling my followers noobs. That was just what I called them. But it wasn't until a few months ago that the Noob Army branding sort of came about, and I don't really know how it happened. It just kind of happened. Like we just decided that's what we were going to go with, and it was just like, and then from there, that like building a brand on Twitch is a very important part of developing as a streamer, because your brand is what defines your channel from every other channel like yours. And that's the thing, it's unavoidable. There's going to be 50 million other channels that are like yours, and like there's so many variety streamers. All of us are similar streamers. That's the thing. We don't stream the same games, we don't stream at the same times, and we're not the same people, but we are all variety streamers from Australia who stream similar things. And it's like, how do we define ourselves from each other? With our brand. That's how we do that. And the brand is something that people can recognize and see. And like something like the Noob Army emote, or your koala emote, or your Dragonite emote, you go into other streams and see people using that, and that's your brand, and people can see that and recognize that that's your recognize your brand. It's a way of like sort of not spreading awareness, but like having a brand reaching out through the use of like your emotes, and like it belongs to you and it belongs to your stream. And when people see that, they recognize that. And the brand is the most recognizable thing about you. And the brand is so important to being a streamer, like a regular streamer. It's something you've just got to have. And like it was difficult for me to find my brand, but once I did, we all became very comfortable in it, and it's at a point now where we've worked everything out. It took a long time for me to work it out. Like when I did my original emotes, I made them myself. They looked terrible, and like my first few overlays were made by Cinder, who was amazing for making those for me. But now these days, like I have my artist Katie, who I've hired, and she does all of my commission work. She does all of my emotes. She does all of the art for the Twitch channel, and I do all of my own graphic design, all my own overlays, my panels. Like I do all of that myself, and that way I can stay true to the brand. And we've definitely adopted this Noob Army thing, so like everybody's got a rank, and and like it's just fun too. And it's like, again, everybody's brand is different, and that's how you differentiate between Twitch channels, is through the use of your brand.
My koala sort of took over.
Koala did take over.
So it wasn't too difficult for me, because I already had my koala branding image, which a friend of a friend made originally for me. So when I got affiliate, I went to Elisa B Crazy, who I follow as a Twitch streamer, and she's a YouTuber, and I knew she did emotes. So I went to her and said, can I have a koala emote? So she ended up making my emote for me, and it sort of went from there to now it's the Koala Crew. We've got the Koala Club, who are my subs, and everything now is just koala related. I've got like little Yuki, the little koala string hat. I got my koala hat.
Yeah, well, even with me, like when I moved, oh my god. When I moved into moved my setup from in the other room to this room, I was like very conscious, because it was my bedroom. Like, I'm going to set up like stuff behind me. And it's like, unknowingly, I've like set up like a Dragonite shrine behind me. There's like Dragonite plushies and whatever else. And the number of people who said, I like the way you've set it up, that you've actually thought about. I got, actually speaking a bit kind of off, like, well, not off topic. It was like, someone random, there's this stream channel, I can't think of the name, I'd have to look it up. And they review other streamers. And it was really odd. Just random, picked it out, and somehow my name came up. And I was like, so they tagged on Twitter and everything else, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, sitting there nervously going, uh-oh. I went and watched it.
You never want someone to review you.
No.
It's like,
And I was like,
they hate me.
it's
What if I
so-
have to quit Twitch forever?
It's so odd. Hey, Gamer Ghost, how you doing? And it's like, I've just got myself tongue-tied. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go check this out. I was really freaking out. They were really awesome. And I come to find out one of the two was actually one of my followers. And that's how it came to be that they were doing this review thing. And I'm like, and so they were going through and like reviewing, you know, how I operate as a streamer and, you know, my overlays and professional. And they're like, the one thing that struck me is I must be really convincing, even though I am genuinely like that I am the worst gaming person I know. And because they're like, this character he plays, I'm like, no, that's me. Like, I genuinely, because they're going, he's so confident about the fact that he sucks at this. It's like,
Same.
I'm like, yep, that's
no,
me.
my character literally just sucks.
That's me. Like, genuinely, I'm an idiot when it comes to stuff. And I embrace that because like literally new people in the stream, I'm like, I'm hopeless. Like seriously, if you're coming here to learn anything, you've come to the wrong place. Usually I have people in my stream telling me how to do these things. So it was that weird moment. And so they were like evaluating everything and like, he's got a very slick setup. And it's like, okay, because I remember my first overlay I did myself and it was horrendous. I did like a stream schedule and showed it to my friend who's a graphic designer, and his name's Sean. He's the one that did the Dragonite emote, and my current sub badges, and like, so it was handy having a graphic designer as a friend, and because I love the work he's done for me. So you know, he looked at everyone and went, "You're not doing that. That's not happening." I'm like, "All right, cool." I agree. So he did all that. But then when I started rebranding, so my overlay was I want it animated in that. He doesn't do that. So I got an overlay done by another guy by the name of Nala. And he's done overlays for other people in Aura Guardians and whatever else. And that's my overlay that you'd see me usually use for gaming and that. But then because I wanted something different for the podcast, I was like, all right, I'll go see a Shiny Mimikyu, who I'll give a shout out for in the thing, because he's an amazing streamer for Aura Guardians as well, but he's a very talented graphic designer. Hang on, have I spelled it right? No, I've missed an I. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, and he streams a lot of Pokemon and that, and he knows that Dragonite, everything. So he was the instant choice. And the moment he sent this is the first draft of the overlay, and I just went, I love it. Like, I just don't change a thing. Like,
it's cute. I like it.
It's like, it suits me to a T. So, you know, and so, yeah, I, unlike Beck, who is very talented with the graphic design stuff and that, I'm not. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with outsourcing, and you should always try and invest, you know, your chat is your first priority, and building a community is your first priority, and getting to know them as a personality and yourself, how you are going to operate as a streamer, is probably priority number one. Once you've sort of got that to some degree, you're always going to be developing it, you're always going to be working on it, then you should start looking at what I would call production value. Things like your alerts and your if you want to put SFX, the ways for your chat to interact. You guys have your redemptions, you know. I have my alerts, they just go nuts and host all the time because they know it scares the shit out of me, and it shouldn't, because it's not a scary sound effect. But you know,
it's loud.
It's loud, and
loud, and you're always focused when you're streaming too,
I was going to say,
like,
I don't look at and it's like, so you know, and there's that side, but and little things like, it's Christmas time. I'm not a Christmassy person. We were having this discussion just before we went live, and Beck was giving me shit about it, and it's like, I put, you know,
December 23rd.
The 26th is more important.
Shopping.
Oh, haven't you? I've at least done some of that.
I've got one. I just got to wrap it.
You know, so I put little things like the Christmas hats and the lights and that. You know, those little things make a difference to, you know, so production value is important, and if you get the chance, invest in that. I was very lucky because I was doing YouTube, that I had, you know, an Elgato and a camera and software to edit stuff and all that. So I had already that in place. But even if you don't, for example, Emma is, as I said, streaming. She started streaming. She hasn't got a PC to do it. She's streaming from her PlayStation. She hasn't got a cam. She's doing the audio stuff. She'll work on that if she continues wanting to do that, you know. So it's about developing your way of streaming. And I mean, you can try to emulate other people if you really want to, but it's not true to yourself. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's certain things I do that I know I've picked up habits from other people, but you know, and that's fine. You know, but you should try and be you is the biggest thing. I mean, there are some streamers who aren't themselves, and that works for them. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. You know, I can think of an easy few names that's like big streamers who aren't themselves. And it's like, so, but they've obviously started developing that personality. People like it. If that's what's working for them, so be it. You know, and I'm always looking at, all right, I want to build these things. You know, we've even had the conversation about, I've had people say to me, do you want to be a Twitch partner? That one there is an interesting loaded question for me, because part of me's like, I want it for one reason and one reason only, or maybe two. The biggest one is
more emotes.
Is the emotes. And it's because I know how much my chat loves their emotes. And it's a shame that I've got my 3 emotes and I can't let them just use them. They've got to just use one, or they have to pay, because I've never understood Twitch's sub. Like, I understand going $4.99, $9.99. I don't understand.
$24.99?
I've never understood that. It makes
Massive
no
jump.
sense. It makes no sense.
And one emote.
You know, and I look at it. I had someone question, oh, well, why worry about subs anyway? I'm a streamer, and you know, I'm not worried about badges and all that. I don't give a damn. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not doing it from the
chat.
Yeah, but exactly. And I was honestly dumbstruck by this comment, because I was like, I don't do it for the money. I could care less. No. Like, it's more so these people are supporting you, so they get the little privilege of, you know, a little badge, or especially if it's something unique, you know, something different, you know. And I'm very lucky that even though I'm you know, my stuff's themed around Pokemon for the most part, the Pokemon that I theme it around is people don't use, you know. You'll see your Pikachus and your Togepis and all them ones, you know, but Dragonite is not used. So mine's become a very definitive, unique sort of thing for me. And so, like, I've had people come in and actually sub, and that's not why I'm doing it either, but a sub because they want the emote. Like,
yeah, I had the same.
It's like
my koala emotes.
So like I've legitimately had people sub, and it's like, and then they'll stay because they've subbed, and then they go, oh, we actually like your content as well. So it works both ways, you know. I guess the other side is people look at partners as being able to help you more. I don't think it does. But if you're working with other people and want to stream with them and everything else, people go, oh, that partner's supporting those people. And that's the way I look at it, is that if I was a partner, I want to be able to help others as well. Like, it's not about, you know, the greater financial reward or, you know, the bigger exposure. And you know, it may not ever happen because it's just so ludicrously hard to be a partner now.
Yeah.
You know, just everything else you can tick off except for that, you know, 75 average views.
A lot of people.
That is
a lot of people to get watching your streams every single time you stream.
And to sustain that, you know, that's really hard as well. So, you know, so there is that side of things, but, and so I've sort of had a few people going, oh, partner push. And it's like, no, you know, I had my time off, and which has greatly affected my average, you know, viewers. You know, I'm not overly concerned about saying just before I had my time off, the end of October, when I had my breakdown and everything else, I was sitting at 23 or 24 as my average for the channel. I was like, oh my God, like, what the hell? I've come back. My average has now dropped down to about 12, you know, and that's because I went into hiatus. And, you know, some people don't believe in schedules. I 100% believe in schedules. I mean, my physical well-being at the moment hasn't allowed that. This week, other than once, which I was not feeling well, I've streamed every time I've said, and my viewership has been more consistent, because people go, I'm not interested in watching Pokemon, but I'll come and tune in to watch Fortnite, or I don't give a damn about Fortnite, but the podcast is on Sunday. So, you know, I am a huge advocate for scheduling.
Yes.
And
I was gonna
go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say this earlier when you were talking about, like, priorities as a streamer, like your first priority being interacting with the chat and getting to know your community. Second priority, make a schedule and stick to it, because it is the only way you're ever going to develop a constant viewership, is if you give people a schedule. You say, this is when I'm streaming and this is what I'm streaming on what nights, and they can go, okay, well, I don't want to watch your Wednesday night streams, but I'll watch your Monday and your Friday streams and stuff like that. And it's consistent every week. It's like watching a television show every week. That's what people want out of Twitch. Yeah. And like some people come into every stream, or some people will just want to come into one stream, or whatever they want to do. And some people will come just for the game. Some people will come for you. Some people will come just out of the blue. And like having a schedule is so important, because it maintains consistency on your Twitch. It maintains consistency for you. And it's like you can't always stick to it. Stuff happens. Yeah. Like at the moment, what I'm streaming is all over the place, but I'm still trying to maintain my time schedule. I'm still streaming at the same times every night. I'm streaming on the same nights. I'm trying to stick to my schedule as much as possible with my handicap at the moment, PlayStation. And I'm like trying to maintain that schedule, because I know how important it is. And it was only once I started streaming on a schedule that my viewership actually picked up. Yeah. Before that, I did not get a lot of viewers. And it was once I decided, okay, I'm actually going to take this Twitch thing seriously and have a schedule and stick to it as much as possible. And I had a similar experience to you, Tyson, where I stopped streaming for a few months because my mental health was so bad. And when I came back, my viewership was basically gone. Yep. But I had to pick up the pieces and basically rebuild everything over again. And even when we went to New Zealand, when I came back, there was a noticeable drop for both of us after we got back. And it was like 2 weeks. So, but I think a lot of that drop is the people who have not really been there since the beginning, who maybe were a bit newer, that have been watching your streams recently. If you disappear for a couple of weeks, they just forget and they just move on. And that's the thing, people's attention spans are really short. So that you have to keep people's attention by maintaining a consistent schedule. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was, Tyson, you were talking about my graphic design and that. Let me make this very clear. If you saw the first overlay I ever made for my Twitch, it was horrible. It was terrible. It looked disgusting. I can't even look at those clips because they make me want to barf. And I'm like, this looks gross. And it's something that I have had to spend a lot of time working on to get it to where it is. And I'm not a professional graphic designer. I just dabble in it because I enjoy it. And I like making my own overlays and making my own panels. I like constantly improving upon them. Yeah. And to get it to the point that it's at has taken years of work. So, but like I knew from the beginning, I've had animated overlays before, but I knew after having those overlays that I personally didn't want an animated overlay. I prefer having a more muted overlay. I prefer to let the game sort of be the main focus, because I am a gamer who takes the gaming very seriously, and I like to think I'm good at video games, which is kind of a tricky thing to say because I'm not always good at them, but like I like to take my gaming seriously, but not too seriously at the same time. Yeah. Because you can't take it too seriously. No. It's supposed to be fun and entertaining and engaging, and if you take yourself too seriously, like, get over yourself. Like, you've got to be able to make fun of yourself. You've got to be able to recognize when you've made a mistake or done something stupid and laugh at yourself for it. Absolutely. And it's like when I fall off a cliff, I'm like, well, that was dumb. Like, you just did it, Larissa. You can't either not acknowledge your mistakes and that you're not a perfect human being, and sometimes you do fuck up, and it's so easy to do when you stream. Absolutely. Like, I can play Crash Bandicoot just sitting here, like, focusing on nothing but the game just fine. The second I tried to stream it, disaster. Could not stream it because everything is too distracting, and it's a game that requires 125% of your focus all the time, and you can't do that while you're streaming. So that's why I gave up streaming that. But Spyro's a little different. Spyro's been easier to stream, and I've really enjoyed streaming Spyro.
That's Fortnite. That's literally Fortnite for me. I just play it. I play it socially. Like, I'm not a Fortnite player by any stretch of the imagination. But what I'll find is that if I'm streaming and there's a lot happening in the chat and I'm playing Fortnite with others, I'll suddenly look at the map and I've just walked off completely in the opposite direction to them, and they're like, where the hell are you going? And I'm like, on the other side of the map. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll make my way back. They all die and I'm still alive. I'm like, well, it's kept me alive. Like, it's like...
So many times too, when we've been playing Dead by Daylight, especially, like when I go back and look at clips, like Tyson as Michael Myers will sneak the fuck up on me, even though he's like walking straight towards me. But I'm over here looking at my chat and just talking to my chat, and you just sneak up on me, and I scream because you scare me so bad. I was like, I'm in my chat, like I didn't see you coming.
It's
and
so
it happens
bad.
so often that like. But it's not a bad thing. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying stop distracting us. We can't be good at video games because of you. That's not what we're saying. Like the chat distracting us is part of the hilarity of Twitch.
Oh, absolutely.
And it does make things go wrong all the time. Like literally when I was streaming Detroit yesterday, I streamed it for 10 hours straight, and it was okay, but it was getting rough towards the end. And like when I got into the more QTE section of the game where everything, and I play it on experience, it's hard.
Yeah.
And like even though I've played it so many times, it's still difficult. And like I can't look at the chat when I'm doing a QTE. I just can't, because I will die. Like I can't do it. I have to like ignore the chat and just do it and be like, okay, and what's going on in the chat? Like, and it's fine. Sometimes, you know, it depends on what you're streaming as well. But it's all good, and like you just can't take yourself seriously as a streamer. And
yeah,
I misspelled thank you.
and you spelled lol.
Oh, I just didn't capitalize the L.
It looks like Loy.
Yeah, you know how we were.
Loy.
Well, I said thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Loy.
So you know how you're saying about being able to do both at the same time? There's a prime example of making a mistake.
And you were doing nothing but typing in the chat. Like
I know. I got the attention span of a goldfish.
Having a deep conversation before and gifting a sub to Corey. Like, I guess there's something to be said for multitasking.
I was going to say there's no level of multitasking here.
Being a streamer is to constantly be multitasking.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's not just playing the game and looking at the chat, it's responding to the chats, especially if like the chat is engaging you in some kind of conversation. It's like trying to be engaged in that conversation, also making sure your stream is still running in the background and not crashing. Or
yes.
And it depends.
And then when things are going wrong, you then have to still stream, still game, still talk to the chat, and fix what's going wrong all at the same time. It's constant multitasking.
Well, actually, you know who was a really good example of not understanding, because my mod Kyrie didn't understand how much goes into it my end, and she'd be constantly like not nagging me but like do this, do that. I'm like, I can't in mid-stream. There's certain things you can't. Well, then when she was playing around with streaming stuff and alerts because she was bored one day, she finally went to me and she's like, I'm so sorry. She said, I did not realize like using like slobs and, you know, chat bot and all those things, how much actually goes into that. And it's like,
it's so involved.
You know.
Very involved, yeah.
And like people who just watch your streams and who don't stream themselves and just watch you streaming, they just see the stream. They don't see the hours of work that goes into that stream before it goes live and after it's finished.
Well,
like it's literally all I do all day long is when I'm not playing games with Corey or when I'm not working on YouTube stuff, I'm working on Twitch constantly.
Oh, absolutely.
It soaks up all of my free time.
Well, it's like when I got my new overlays, like the animated ones, it was like I had to sit there. It took me like 6 hours to like put the overlays together, then go to the alerts and then do the timing so the writing came up over the overlay and, you know, and the sound effects and then grabbing those and like it was multitudes of like just crazy work, and everyone's like, oh, you know, you just flick a switch on and it happens. Like, no.
Go.
Sometimes
like,
you'll flick the switch and sometimes it doesn't do anything. It's like
exactly, and then you're like, well, I got to spend the next half an hour fixing this so I can go live, and then just not worry about it. But when you watch somebody's streams, all you see is what you see when they're live.
Yeah.
You don't see the hours of work that goes into it. And I used to be of the mentality of being a YouTuber transitioning to a Twitch streamer. I used to be like, ugh, being a Twitch streamer must be so easy. Like, all you have to do is stream live. You don't even have to edit anything. And I'm like, being a Twitch streamer is so involved. And it's like constant work. And it never ends. Yep. But we love doing it. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And I like constantly working on my Twitch and constantly improving it. And but Corey can attest to this too. Even when we are playing games together, I am always working on Twitch stuff in the background. Like, if we're playing Dead by Daylight, the second I'm killed, I'm like, and Twitch work.
Welcome to the stream, Emma.
Hi, Emma. There she is.
I've been speaking about you. It's all been nice.
Yes.
I've actually been really nice about you. Oh my god.
You need to turn the timer off.
I know. Oops. Ignore that. So yeah, no, and so it's just the work that goes into it, and trying to explain that to people who aren't Twitch streamers and even new Twitch streamers. You know, I mean, I came in going, I didn't come in with that mindset because I'd seen bits and pieces and I knew a few people who Twitch streamed, but it was still like, all right, what goes into it? And then as my community's gotten bigger, it's like, okay. And as I was saying, the production value, if you want to call it that, and the, you know, if you're not working on chatbot stuff, you're working on Streamlabs stuff. If you're not working on Streamlabs stuff, you're in Discord doing stuff. If you're not in Discord, you're on Twitter doing stuff.
You're always doing something.
Or you're doing all of them at once.
All of them at once, you know. And then, or it's like, or in the middle of the stream, someone's like, can you check this in Discord? And it's like, sure. And it's like shuffling like 5 screens around trying to find where you've left Discord. Like, you know, so it's, yeah, so like it's one of those things. And even, you know, they'll suggest stuff. And it's like, I like the idea, but the how do I say it? Like, not the conception of it, the actually doing it is not that straightforward. You know, little things like people wanted a hug command. It's like, I've got to work out how that bloody works. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's something really popular. And even little things like song request commands and you know, what song's currently playing. It's like, it's not just a thing that happens. Like,
if you want to be a Twitch streamer, you have to learn how to code. Sorry, but you have no choice. You've got to learn how to code even the basic commands.
And you've got to learn to look at it and go, all right, there's something not right here. And then you've picked it up. You know, it might be a symbol that's not right, or you know, that prompts you to do stuff. So yeah, there's lots of little things like that. See, Emma's into. Emma just slaps me around. It's fine.
I was just reading that.
And like. I remember somebody came into my chat recently and they were like, can you not just do a command that plays a random SFX? And I'm like, you don't understand what's involved in coding something like that. I do.
No.
No, thank you.
It exists, but my God.
I could do it, but it is hours of work that is not going to be worth it.
No, and you know.
And I'm like, no.
And you know, I've had
around my face. Sorry.
The other side of it is like I'm open to the suggestions made by my followers, you know, and my community. And sometimes it's like, all right, you know, there's certain things I've asked, and it's taken me a long time to be able to do that for them. And it's not because I don't want to. It's because there's always that level of like, you know, someone will say, can we have this as an SFX? And it's like, it's not just a file. I've then got to go find a clip. Then I've got to take it from that clip. Then make sure the audio's fine and use that. And then it's got to be, all right, then we've got to put it back into chatbot. And then it's like...
with the volume.
And then it's deafening people. The number of times I've had someone host the channel and I've completely forgotten to turn the audio down on specifically Streamlabs and then like deafened people. Because, you know, and it happens more often than not because, you know... Because Noob Pro Beast doesn't give me any warning he's in the chat. He's just like, host. I'm like, bah! It's like, so, you know, especially when your SFX is so loud anyway. But like,
yes.
Keep it up, mate. No worries. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Is this talking about Twitch problems? No, Pineapple and Pizza. We're just talking about our experience as Twitch streamers. And Aussie Twitch streamers, so yeah, and just everything in general, and how we deal with stuff, and it's just been a sort of a rambling stream about our experiences as Twitch streamers, is the way I'd describe it. And because we know each other really well, it's just been easy to just, you know, talk.
Just talk, yeah.
Yeah, like it's
2.5 hours. Woo.
Is it?
And if you're a streamer and you take away anything from anything that we're saying, your main priorities as a streamer, interact with your chat. Always talk like there's 100 people, even if nobody's there. And just keep talking and the people will come. You need to have a schedule and you need to stick to it. You need to develop a brand, but that's something that comes later when you have a more developed community. But you need things like overlays, you need things like alerts. Even if you're not an affiliate, start doing those things early, and then you will be well established by the time you reach affiliate. And commission an artist to do your emotes. There are so many talented artists out there that charge next to nothing. They should be charging more. And like there are so many and networking as well. Networking is the most important thing. If you do not network, you will not grow as a streamer.
No.
It will not happen on its own. You need other streamers to help you. So you must network. That is the most important thing.
Next class is advanced marketing, where we learn strategy and growth. and this is the thing, like, you know, and we're constantly like, you know, I'll ask Larissa or Beck something, they've asked me stuff, or can I have this piece of information, or can I have this SFX, or, you know, they like I said, the biggest thing I want to like try and impart on anybody is that we're not competition. If you are dealing with somebody who is a streamer and they are looking at you as competition as opposed to someone who should cooperate with you, they're not the kind of person you're going to find is going to A, support you, B, you're not going to want to support them because you're not getting that mentality out of them, and you're not going to get growth. If they're looking at you as a threat, that's not a good mindset. You should never look at somebody else as a threat, you know. And if they're looking at you as a threat, they're not probably going to be someone you want to network with. No. You know, I don't look at these two as a threat. I look at these people as my peers. I look at these people as, you know, as people I can work with, not against.
We are all a support group. Like we each and every one of us, like the three of us here, Lante, Cooper, Vicky, Grumpy, the list is endless of people that we know. We are a massive support group of streamers, and like we know that we could go to any one of us and be like, could you help me out with this? Because we know that the next time they come to us for help, we will be there to help them. And it's like, if another streamer like Mrs. Lante asks me for a favor or asks me for help with something, I know that the next time I need her help, she will be there to help me. And it's like that constant back and forth of like, we are not afraid to give to one another because we know we will get back just as much. And it's like we bounce off of each other and we support each other and we help each other. And none of us is thinking about our own gain when we do these things. We do it because we want to and because we love and appreciate each other's support. And it's this massive, like people talk about Twitch as being like a constant learning curve. It's a learning circle. What goes around comes around on Twitch. If you give out support and you give out help and to those who need it, you will receive back. And it's the only way to go about it. If you go into Twitch with a mindset that you just want to grow but you don't want to network, or you want to get help from other streamers but you're not willing to give help, then you're not going to go anywhere.
No, and I would also say don't come into the mindset that you are. I mean, some people do treat it as a business, but they wouldn't have. And if they wouldn't have treated it as a business initially, don't ever come into it thinking that I'm going to make $1 billion and
doesn't happen.
It doesn't. No, you know, it doesn't happen. I've had some amazing months since I've started, and that's because of the support from the people, not because I'm doing anything that I would deem particularly, you know, money value. Like, I don't look at myself and go, I'm worth X amount of dollars or anything. You know, I just go and like, oh my God. Like, and that's why 9 times out of 10, I have such a positive, but just like, what the hell reaction, because I still, even though I've been affiliated since August, July, whatever it was, I don't, yeah, something like that. I can't remember. Is that like, I still get that moment of like, people are subbing and paying money because they enjoy watching me. and I don't think you ever get past that kind of, and if you do, I think you're then losing the, what I find enjoyable about Twitch is the social interaction and the you know, the ability to hopefully make someone's day a little bit nicer because, you know, you've thrown yourself off a cliff in a game, or you've just, drove the car off the, it's those moments of like making someone else's day enjoyable by just being an idiot is the way I approach my stream. Yeah. I don't go in there,
Yeah. You want to go back?
No, you go.
Okay. I was just going to say, like, I had some of my work colleagues, they're like, oh, you must be good at video games because you stream. I'm like, I want to say I'm good. Why do people watch you? Like, they watch you because I fail at games and it's funny.
This is why I have a death counter.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, it's not that I'm good at video games. It's more the fact that I suck really bad at them, but I have fun failing and people like to watch me fail.
I was going to say, it's sad, even when I know you're streaming and I'm streaming, like Noob Pro Beast has dropped into my chat. I'm like, how many deaths has Lewis? It's usually one of the, it's usually the first question I ask. It's like, oh yeah, that's not bad. That's not too bad for her. It's like 100. Like, wow, she's having a bad night. She is.
She's not like a good time. Kingdom Hearts today.
She's averaging 1 a minute. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, I never ever go into a stream being like, oh, I hope I get subs tonight. I hope I get followers tonight. And like, I'm privileged to be at a point where I know that every night I will get followers and like new people will come in and say hi, and I will get hosts, and maybe I'll get a raid, maybe I'll get a sub. That's cool. But like, I never go into my streams with that mentality. I go into my streams going, we're gonna have a fucking good time tonight. And it's like, exactly. Every single time I stream, we do. There's the very rare occasions where a stream maybe doesn't go so well. And that is going to happen no matter what. And it's not necessarily through any fault of yours or any fault of the chat, or, maybe people just aren't available that night and that's okay.
Yep.
Or maybe some troll came in and tried to ruin the stream for everyone. It happens. But 99% of the time, streaming is amazing and so much fun.
Yeah.
And I will say that I've been a YouTuber for 8 years now. My main channel recently got demonetized. And before that, I had all of my original videos on my YouTube were monetized. So none of my Ruby content, which is 90% of my channel, was ever monetized. So I never earned anything off of that. I earned money off of my original content. But I will say that Twitch, as an affiliate, has been more lucrative for me in 1 year than YouTube was in 7.
Oh, absolutely.
And the thing about that's so insane to me is that on Twitch, like on YouTube, I was relying on ad revenue. So I was relying on people to watch my videos and to watch the ads to provide me with revenue. On Twitch, all of the money that I earn comes from the people who watch my streams. It comes from them subbing to me and cheering me bits and giving me donations. All of that money is them saying, I like what you're doing. I want you to keep doing it. I want to support you. Here you go. And the fact that has been more lucrative than like literally having ads on all of my videos is insane to me. And again, I don't do it for the money. I've only just reached a point with my Twitch where I'm actually earning a payment every month. There was a good long time there where it was 2-3 months I would have to wait. But now it's at a good point where like I know I have enough subs and I have enough support behind me that every month I will get a payout from Twitch. And all of that money goes back into the Twitch. And it's going towards my new computer and stuff like that. So like none of that money is coming to me. It's like you guys are giving me that money and it's going back to you through improving the quality of my streams. So, but that's what's so good about it is, and also things like charity and that a lot of it goes towards like charities, especially this month with WWF. Like a lot of my payout is going to go towards charity, and that's like, we rarely ever see any of that money. So
yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. But yeah, it's just. You guys are amazing for supporting us and paying us money to play games on the internet every night and be idiots and have a good time with you. And it's like, I look at it as like paying for like a service like Netflix. You pay for a Netflix subscription and it gives you access to all of this amazing content, except that Twitch is different from a thing like Netflix because every night you get to engage with the same streamer, but every single stream is different. No two streams are ever the same. And like you may be streaming the same thing every week, but it's constantly changing and constantly growing and constantly developing, and things are always surprising you. And it's never going to be the same. No. So it's exciting to it's a good time to be a streamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. All right. Well, I think that's probably a good point to start the wrap up, I suppose. We've been how long have we been going for?
2.5 hours, 2 hours and 47 minutes.
Good lord. I did say to you, maybe 2.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow. If you stream now, you're in a good position. Yeah, exactly. And that's as Becca said, it's an exciting time to be a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
There's so much growth at the moment. It's insane. So yeah. All right. Well, so now the situation with podcasts moving forward is I am going away for 3 weeks from the 26th.
Typical bees. Let's start a podcast and then disappear for 3 weeks.
I am doing a podcast while I'm over in the Netherlands. I don't know how I'm working that yet. I've got to work that out. I also will be streaming a very small amount while I'm over there. It is a holiday, but Danny and I want to do some streams and that. Probably going to stream some Smash Brothers and stuff as well, and some IRL streams.
If you didn't stream together, the Dragon's Den would riot.
Oh my god!
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Emma's already Emma's losing her mind.
Yeah, break the distance.
So there will be some streams. I will try and let you guys know in advance. I love having schedules. This is going to be hard to schedule. I can't guarantee the scheduling for this stuff. I will, however, give you hopefully a day's notice and go, yep, we're going to do this tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to try and do. When I get back, we're going to hit the ground running. But this was also a good chance for me to test. It has ran so incredibly smoothly, and you know it's social.
Rude.
There you go.
Also, your links are wrong in your social command.
What do you
So
mean?
you should know that. You need two forward slashes. You've only got one. They're not hyperlinked.
You only got 1 forward slash.
Oh, why has it done that?
Yeah, you need to fix that.
It's perfect. It's beautiful.
It's fine. Twitch streaming is great. Nothing ever goes wrong when we're live.
Absolutely not.
Ever.
So yeah, also I'll just do another shout out for these guys. What was the took the podcast in? There we go. So make sure you guys both go check out SheNoob and NerdsofAus, both amazing streamers, both fantastic people. You know, and as I said, when I've known that I was going to do this podcast for a long time. Obviously, with lots of other things, it took me a while to get to the point where I was like, "Yep, we're going to do this now." These two were the first people on my list. And obviously,
obviously,
you can tell who's the modest one out of the two. You know, and so please support them. So I will have this as a more regularly scheduled thing when I get back in mid-January. I haven't decided whether it's going to be fortnightly, monthly. I have no idea. It's not going to be a weekly thing, just simply because I don't want it to become oversaturated, because it's not structured around something like you guys do, for example, with your Ruby podcasts. You've got the ability to do that. So I want to...
the thing is, so Ruby comes in like, there's a season and then it's over for the rest of the year. And it's like, so it comes in like, we do a season of the podcast and then it's gone for the rest of the year. So
yeah. Keep an eye out. If you haven't joined my Discord already, keep an eye out in there. I will be putting the details up for my YouTube channel, which will be my personal one. I haven't done anything with. I will put this up as a video there. Also, I will be putting up highlight reel videos, monthly ones, starting next year. So there's a lot going on from that perspective. What have you got coming up, Beck? What are you doing for the rest of the year? Have you got streams? What are you doing?
Well, I just
putting
finished
under
Detroit
pressure.
And my life suddenly has no meaning anymore. No, it's in all honesty, even though I did 100% complete the game, I'm still going to play it. Like, there's still so much I have yet to see. So I'm starting a new run of Detroit like next week. So, but
of course,
I'm still working my way through the seasons of The Walking Dead, the Telltale's The Walking Dead on Wednesday nights, and I'm still making my way through Spyro 1, and I am still doing all my creative streams, and like I stream myself editing my Twitch clips or editing like other videos. I've recently started doing Instagram edits, which I've been streaming myself doing. I love streaming editing because it's like my chat is so, sometimes they are so insightful and like give me ideas that I wouldn't have had myself. So I love streaming editing.
I have to say, they're probably one of my favorite streams you do. I enjoy watching. Yeah, I don't know why. There's just something about those editing streams.
I feel like there's something so awesome, like, because when I make something and I'm happy with it, I get really giddy, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool, I really like it. And I'm like, it's the only time I don't feel weird about getting excited over something I've made, when, like, I just love the feeling of, like, making something and being happy with it. And, like, I like sharing that on stream, because I can see the live feedback of people going, that, I don't think that really worked, maybe you should try it this way, or that looks really cool, you should do it that way. And it's like, it's really cool to have that live feedback. Yeah.
Now, what have you got coming up, Larissa?
Well, I'm doing a stream tonight, unboxing all my loot crates and Japan crates I've had sitting around.
Finally!
Oh, is that tonight?
That's been a long time coming.
I know, yeah, I haven't really promoted. I keep forgetting. I'm going to do a tweet out later. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that tonight at my usual start time, and going to be opening them all up. My Ruby figurines too that I got at RTX Sydney that I haven't opened up.
Oh,
yet.
really?
My Twitch kitten figurine arrived in this box. That's what it is, by the way, Beck. It's my Twitch kitten's figurine.
She's so behind on unboxing things. It's not funny. She's literally been talking about this stream for months.
I was gonna say, how many hours you're streaming for tonight?
Hours you got?
I got to work tomorrow. Even though it's only a short shift to work tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see if I can get through most of it at least. I got some like gaming crates and Japan crates, Wizarding World. But a couple of Wizarding World ones. They're cool. I like them. The Harry Potter ones. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I got a couple of those too.
So from my...
I will likely be doing an editing stream tonight, but tomorrow night, because we don't have Stardew, I don't know if I'll stream, but if I stream, I'll be streaming Jurassic World Evolution, because I just got that.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah.
So
I'll be doing some streams later in the week too.
I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. My schedule, like this is the end of my schedule for this week. I'm probably going to try and stream tomorrow night. I have no idea what I'm streaming yet, and I might be streaming Christmas Day night because I'm going to try and stay up as late as I can, because I'm not flying out to the Netherlands until Boxing Day night. So I'm going to try and sleep a bit in, and So I'll let you know later today what I'm actually doing. And then from that, you'll have to keep an eye out on Twitter and on Instagram or in Discord for what I'm doing, because I have no idea. I'll be in a plane for about 19 hours total.
Fun.
Have fun with that.
I'm flying from here to...
It'll be worth it when you get there.
I was going to say,
absolutely.
I'm flying from here to Dubai, and then from Dubai to Amsterdam, so... Yeah, that's going to be fun. No, not much layovers, which is nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to end the stream, or I'm going to go to my end stream screen, and then I'm seeing we've got people here. I will hit a raid on somebody, so if you want to hang around, that would be nice. I don't know who's online at the moment. I'll check that out. So we'll go to that screen.
Is Weasel streaming right now?
Bees is streaming. We could go see Bees.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Streaming Rocket League.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, thank you once again.
Don't mind me just being a mod while I'm on your stream.
I'm just having a look who's online as well. Bees.
New Pro Beast.
New Pro Beast. One Live Zero
Zero.
continues.
Yeah.
We might raid.
Not that we're looking at the same people here.
I was going to say that's very telling. We might raid Bees, I reckon.
Okay.
Because it's not often he's on when I'm on. That's always hard.
I never get to raid Bees either.
He's always.
He's always
exactly.
So thank you to both of you for being on here. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you for having us.
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
It has been fun. It went a lot quicker than I thought it was going to.
We went a lot longer than I thought.
I was going to say.
Same.
But thank you to all the subs and hosts and things, guys. You guys are amazing. And keep your eye out on my Discord for all the updates and that. But let's go to the post-stream screen, and I'll organise this raid for Bees Weasel. So we'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye.